a very long time ago.
Yeah,
that one got pulled down for something, copyright claim.
Huh.
Yeah, that's why in Slack, Anessa was asking if like one of us sang or played some sort of music. And I'm like, no.
I don't remember at all. Did one of us pull out our nipples? Are our nipples copyrighted? Yours might be.
My nipples might be copyrighted. It's just because I have The Simpsons on my nipples.
Yeah, that's true.
How have you been?
Good. I have this caramel pumpkin macchiato beer, and I'm really regretting drinking it.
Oh no, why?
It's not very good. It's not very good. Someone's a buddy of mine sent it to me along with a pumpkin pie and some pumpkin ale. So yeah, I only poured part of it because I'm like, this thing could suck real bad.
And it sounds like that was the way it went.
Oh yeah. Things are good. My internet kind of works now.
That's better. So what happened?
So there was water in the coax line between my house and the pole.
Oh jeez.
So it would generally be about one down, like 1 meg down.
Yeah.
So it was physically unable to like you would be choppy. There would be no way. Like my upload was fine. It was just the download was garbage. So anything you would say would be choppy. And since I record the audio locally, like that doesn't really do well for a podcast.
Yeah. I need to get my my shit together on the mixer and stuff to help pick up the slack on stuff like that. But at the same time, it still would have been just a pain in the ass because you wouldn't have been hearing me.
Well, and that's the thing. There was just so much more. Like we couldn't watch TV. Like we have Hulu for high beat. So we have Hulu for TV. Let me know if that's better, by the way.
That is better.
Okay. Lost my train of thought. So we have Hulu for TV. So like the internet, it would drop enough packets that Hulu would basically take a shit.
Yeah.
Like the Roku that we use is not. It like drops the Wi-Fi connection all the time. So it's very difficult. Like when someone in this family really likes football, when the Packers play and the cable goes out, it's not a pretty sight.
Yeah, I think I've talked about my ordeals with our cable box in our living room before. It just they gave us a wireless cable box, and for some reason it has the shittiest Wi-Fi ever, and everything else in the living room works fine, but that cable box just can't fucking deal with it, and it's constantly having to be rebooted because it freezes up and locks up with some code, and it's like, oh, we'll get better eventually, and it never gets better on its fucking own. And Comcast doesn't fucking care. They keep saying, "Oh yeah, that this is your fucking problem, right? I mean, we know that it's working, but it's not. I can show you right now that it's not working. Well, we'll reset it and it'll work. Yeah, for 5 fucking minutes. How about you get your asses over here and run a fucking coax line like you should have done originally, you dumb bitches." And I made an appointment, and the 3 days before the appointment, I was like, well, maybe I should reschedule that appointment. I don't really want to deal with that this weekend. I'm not feeling up to it. And I go and I look, and it turns out that they canceled the appointment 3 days after I made it without fucking telling me. Oh. And then I think they charged me for it. I haven't even checked my bill yet, but I'm pretty sure they charged me for it too.
So I was in Denver when like the internet dropped one time, and I had to like tell my wife what to reboot.
Right. I remember you saying something about that. Is like,
yeah. So you can, from like the Spectrum cable webpage, you can reboot your modem remotely.
Yeah.
So I went in there and it's just a connection issue. And I'm like, well, that's not good. So then I could never do anything remotely. So I had a guy come out like the following Monday, the Monday after I got back. He's the one who said, yeah, there's something not good. So they have to put in like a request to have someone come and run a new line. Well, it's been so wet that they kept putting it off, and then it snowed on Halloween here.
Right.
So it was basically every week. Every Monday after that, I would call in and be like, well, what's going on? Like, I really need my internet to work. And then they're like, oh, there's someone's coming out. It's 7 to 10 days, whatever. So I called like November 8th, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And like, well, they closed your ticket on the 1st. I'm like, well, my internet still doesn't work, so get someone out here.
Yeah.
And then basically it was this Monday they finally fixed it. So I called back like last Thursday, because they said someone should be there in 24 hours, and I see car pull into my driveway and then just leave, and the shit still doesn't work. So I called, and then they're like, well, someone will be there in 24 to 48 hours, and it was like 90 minutes later, a guy came and did it. Like, why did it take 3 phone calls?
It feels like where we're at with the cable companies, because you're in a different cable company than I am. You're Charter. That
Well,
they know their shit is cooked.
Yeah.
And they don't fucking care at all anymore. They're just like, when I called up to get my cable bill lowered, because you have to do that every year or two, and they keep inching up, and then it's like your promo thing ended. So I called up to get it lowered, and they don't do that anymore. They're just like, guy was really nice, because I'm sure he gets people.
You're gonna leave.
Yeah, the guy's just like, well, fucking, I wish I could, but I work for assholes that don't want to do that. And it really felt like he was just trying to talk me out of getting any TV. Like, they know they're going to be a dumb pipe eventually, and he's just like, so do you really watch these movie channels on your cable? And I'm thinking to myself, well, I really don't. You know, there's like 2 things maybe I watch a week, and I could definitely get those other ways. But I keep thinking that Erin is going to watch stuff, because she will go through the Comcast stuff and like flip through horror movies when she's run out of them at every other source. But we do have a lot of other sources at this point.
Right. Why not? So I got an email, Hulu's going up again. So I basically set a reminder for 2 days before my billing cycle ends to switch to someone else.
Like, Hulu Live stuff, the TV.
Yeah, because so we had Sling and then an antenna, and I think the antenna got fucked, and I'm too lazy to fix it. So we switched to Hulu, who has live local streaming. Everyone except Sling has local streaming at this point.
Right.
But it's, the shell game of which sports channels do you want and which ones are you going to miss out on.
Yeah, and I guess Sony just ended theirs on their PlayStation TV. That's gone away, and yeah, so there's YouTube, there's Hulu, there's a couple other ones, but it really does seem like nobody really gives a fuck about local channels. I mean, we as the viewers do.
Yeah.
But all these companies are like, oh yeah, we'll give you the single replay TV, except for the TV part. Fuck the TV, right? And it doesn't need it.
Yeah, it's strange. So like ultimately I'm gonna switch to Spectrum TV, which
now, what does ESPN give you? Does it give you any of that, the local sports stuff? Yeah.
Sweet God, no.
Oh, so it's a sports thing that doesn't give you sports.
Right. I don't even think you get ESPN.
No, I mean, because with the new Disney Plus thing,
yep.
If you do the group, it's Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN, which again, like, that's the same thing I've been fighting with my cable company for years. Fuck your sports. I don't need that. Get it off of my shit and then just charge me less. Like, I know this is your rock hard fucking hold on things. I don't want any of it. So please take it away. And they won't, and I still pay shit tons of money to them. So ESPN Plus doesn't do dick.
No, so ESPN Plus is like, so there's ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN3, ESPN like University.
So it's like the Ocho. It's
basically. So what happened? Like, the reason it started was Fox had UFC, so there would be UFC fight nights on. It was like Fight Night on Fox is what it was called. Fox lost the rights to ESPN for those, so now ESPN Plus handles all of the fight nights for UFC. And then essentially what they did is, now to get pay-per-views, instead of it being through like your cable box, you have to get it through ESPN Plus, which means you have to pay ESPN Plus and then $60 for a UFC fight for pay-per-view.
Damn.
Yeah, so every month they're like, oh, if you pay $75, we'll give you a year of ESPN Plus and the pay-per-view. And I'm like, I'll fucking wait till tomorrow morning.
Right.
Yeah, it's become a racket, and now,
or I'll just go to Reddit and watch somebody who's streaming it through that.
Which they cracked down on it now, so you can't even really do that. Like, I know people who have like these Russian websites, but they don't lend themselves well when you stream to a TV. So I'm like, we'll just wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. But the thing, like, when I went through the motions of canceling Hulu Plus or Hulu just to see, they're like, well, if you want Disney Plus, we can get you that. Like, it's fucking not it at all. It's that my bill is now $55. Like, we went with Hulu because the price for what I got, and now we can get ESPN and Spectrum streaming, like the 25 channels that we watch in locals, for like $40 a month.
Man.
Yeah.
And so I'm still trying to get like a local ISP that is not cable to do a real internet. You know,
Yeah.
one of those things that's not tiered or that isn't that doesn't have data caps and shit. And there's
Oh,
one that's been talking about it that's related to, I guess, a power company around here, and they're like, oh yeah, we're considering your area. I'm like, don't fucking consider, just do it, man.
yeah. I'm waiting. So like AT&T has fiber and it's in Milwaukee. So I'm just kind of waiting for it to creep up here because Google Fiber fell apart.
Yeah, Google Fiber fell apart, which is shit
Well,
tea. But then we're still stuck with the fucking same broadband companies who've been around for years who've been fucking us anyways. I'm like, I'm not anxious to get a Verizon FiOS if I know the Verizon is a piece of shit in every other fucking way in their company. It's like, well, I'm sure that's fast internet, but they're gonna come around and they're gonna just rip their fucking dick out and shove it in me with solid barbed wire on it. It's what they do.
yeah, it's just a shell game of like who you want to handle. So we switched our wireless phones to Spectrum, who just leases towers from Verizon. So we went from Verizon to Spectrum, which is the same service, and
Right.
it was like $55 less a month.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's the same thing I see. Like, yes, it sucks and it's kind of a pain in the ass, but I'll fucking switch every 3 months if I have to, just because I fucking can and I pay enough attention to do so. Internet, I don't have that luxury with because I really have one option. Um, unless I want like wireless or some teeny tiny company with data caps, like you said. At least Spectrum doesn't have that, and I don't know. Like my right now, it's fine on my desktop, which is wired. Like my Xbox is wireless, and I'm having like weird speed issues there. But that like I set up mesh here too,
Mm-hmm.
like an Asus router, and if you buy a new Asus router, then you can make your old Asus router like a mesh node. And because of the camera on the other garage, and then when she is out there doing stuff, there's a TV in there. So
Uh-huh.
like yeah, so it's like I need Wi-Fi to be at that garage too. So I went the mesh node instead of an extender. And because the one in the garage where the Xbox connects to is older, I don't know if it's just getting shitty download that way. And it's
Yeah,
like
that's the thing
we're
about mesh stuff. I think one thing can fuck it up for everybody.
yeah.
But that is like, I am interested in a mesh network, and Comcast has a mesh network that works with their shitty ass routers and stuff that's supposed to be like, oh, that's our next best thing. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to pay for your fucking equipment to then be beholden to your goddamn company.
Yeah, even Pete said that the AI mesh is a bit wonky. It is, but it's kind of nifty. Like
I used to have really good luck with the Apple airports, and Apple just saying, you know what, fuck it, we're not going to do network anymore. Because we used it when I worked doing home setups and stuff. We used those Apple airports all over the place because you could run it and have it be like a whole network for the entire place with a bunch of those nodes hooked up.
yeah,
And they would just like, it would treat it like one network. It wouldn't be like walking room to room and having be like, well, it's called the same thing, but it keeps dropping and starting up. Like Apple was smooth as shit. They were way ahead of the game on that.
yeah. So the AI is pretty nice in that regard. Like if I switch between nodes, it's seamless.
Yeah. But I need an electrician just to come out because I'm not going to fucking do it. Just run a goddamn cable to our living room.
Yeah,
I just like set up some Ethernet. We'll put a switch up. Just run it around the house. Like give me a couple places to plug in, and then if I need to, I can put Wi-Fi repeaters there.
yeah.
But it's just such a shitty fucking thing that I'm like, I'm in a house that is 130 square feet smaller than my old house. My old house, I ran a power line adapter when we first got there, and eventually the power line adapter started to die.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
so
the
it,
problem is it's so fucking expensive. No matter what route you take, it's expensive.
yeah, and I really want, I want to get off this fucking teat that is these cable companies and all these major broadband things, and I don't understand why it's so hard for somebody else. I know it's hard. It's the infrastructure, it's the costs. It just seems stupid because we were getting somewhere for a little bit, and Google being a company to do that, it seems like Google and Disney and Apple and all these people are now trying to sell their content, their streaming content, really need to just like long dick the whole fucking industry and say, you know, we have fucking infinite billions and trillions of dollars. Let's just fucking buy it out. Let's just take all this shit over. Like we keep buying companies for the content. We own all the content now. Let's just buy these companies out and make it so that you can get our content no matter what. Because you're always going to pay us for our fucking Marvel movies. You're always going to pay us for our fucking other things. Like we'll all team up. We'll give you just the streams galore, and then just like keep on our dicks and like watching all of our shit, because who the fuck needs NBC and who the fuck needs all these other companies that are just like part and parcel of the problem?
Wow.
Says me.
Yeah. Did you Beat wants to know if you added audio processing?
I don't know.
Says you're phasing.
I don't know what that means.
Me neither. Don't diss the peacock.
The peacock. I do appreciate the peacock, not for the name, although I think it's great. I do appreciate it because they're going to do a free service that is going to be handled by ads. I like advertising on TV. Advertising on TV is different than advertising on something like Hulu, though, where you get the same ad 90 times.
Well, or take the approach. Okay, with not only having 7 ads, but take the approach that Hulu had, where it's like, you know what, it'll be really cheap if you don't mind ads, or you can pay more and there are no ads.
Yeah, and I guess the Disney Plus thing, I found some article today that says that because the Disney Plus Hulu bundle, you're supposed to get
You can add ESPN Plus in there too.
right. No, it's the 3 of them, but the bundle is supposed to be that you get you get Hulu with ads, but it's supposed to be behind the scenes that you can have it work out that if you're already paying for Hulu without ads, you can just get the $6 off, which is what we'd want. I don't want to watch Hulu's ads. Hulu's ads are what kept me from doing a lot of these streaming services in the first place.
Yeah, it's all a shell game.
I mean, I don't want to pay a company for their content and then also get advertising on top of that. That's where I draw my line.
Yeah, I realize that we've now been talking about TV and technology for 15 minutes, which is a nice change of pace.
Well, it also is like kind of an explanation as to why we haven't done the show in a few weeks.
Yeah, I did have every intent to like address the fact. So where the fuck? I was gone. Then I was gone, and then I was gone.
I was sick.
Oh yeah, you were sick.
I got sick.
I was gone, you were sick. My internet. Here we are.
Yeah, and I've appreciated the fact that I've had the Monster Madness podcast to listen to you, and you guys have had so much stuff in the bank.
And that's the thing, we really lucked out by pre-recording so much that it didn't affect that show. So
yeah, I'm not going to say I didn't think you were fucking lying to me like a goddamn queen.
Other people maybe listening, and it's like, but that show was coming out. Yeah. No, that one was more so designed to like, we're done with the season. So now
like the last episode that I listened to, you were talking about when Sid Haig passed away. I'm like, very crafty. I see what you're doing here. You know, I'll bite. I'll take your little fucking lies.
Make it sound like we recorded it a month ago. I don't want Corey figuring out what's going on.
Let's show newspaper from today, but it's technically from like February of 2016.
I go and specifically buy one newspaper to sit on for 8 weeks just so that I have it, so I can prove that I'm really in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Matt's home for like 3 days. I thought about texting him to see if he wants to do a Cast and the Furious, but I think
he's been running pretty wild, so I don't blame him if he needs like an actual break. Although that doesn't seem the speed that guy runs.
Oh fuck no! I'm actually I was gonna leave it up to him just because he's been so busy, but I kind of expected him to say something.
And I mean, you've had a whole new Fast and Furious movie come out since you guys last recorded.
Waiting to watch it.
I know, me too.
We'll see. I'm sure I heard it's great, but what else happened in the last month?
I don't know, man.
Dark Fate came out, tanked.
What's that?
Terminator Dark Fate came out.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, and Dr. Sleep seems to have tanked, and
wanted to go see that. But...
me too. And I've heard good things about it. That's the thing. Is like it's not like these things are coming out and they're being claimed as shitty movies. I think Terminator has a harder problem because of the fact that it's had a bunch of sequels that have been seen as bad.
Have you didn't see Dark Fate, did you?
No.
Before I ruin what that one's about, did you see Dr. Sleep, or are you just saying that?
If he says it's great, he's seen it.
I assume so, but I kind of want more than just it's great. So Dark Fate is Terminator 1 and 2 with female cast. And I'm not saying that is a bad thing. It's just the story's very rehashed. But if all you want is a Terminator movie and some fucking robot battles, it's a good movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I would assume that it would be it. And I wanted to see the last one. What was it, Genesis?
Yeah, I like Genesis.
I figured I would enjoy Genesis because of the fact that they're doing something silly where they're just like they fuck with the timeline. That is what these movies are about.
The timeline is too hard to follow in Genesis.
Right.
And they're trying to like re-explain it, and it doesn't. It gets really confusing. But
yeah, it's built for the super fan.
Yeah.
Which I guess if you're going back to this franchise over and over again, you have to be a super fan.
I did I saw Genesis in the theater, and then I rewatched it at one point, and it's a pretty bad movie, but it's fine. Like, it's worth a watch, but it's just really not good.
What was the last good Terminator film? I mean, other than Dark Fate now. What's that?
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2, right. And so I guess I don't want to spoil too much about the new movie, but I guess there's some problems with the new movie because of a certain circumstance that happens to a character. And
like in the fucking first 30 seconds of the movie.
Right. But
it's a little ridiculous.
But that character never really felt like they were the biggest part. I know it's all about the fate of them and shit, but it's like they never felt like they were that big of a deal in the first couple of films. And then when they did become about that character, all the films went to pot. Like, it was Sarah Connor. Sarah Connor was the fucking movie for me. Sarah Connor and the Terminator was what it was all about.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about John Connor.
I am.
Oh.
That's what I mean. Is like Sarah Connor was what I liked the films for.
I was like, because the second one, he is the basis for the second one, but I do agree.
But he's a kid.
Yeah.
You know, he's got no real agency. He's running around, he's bossing around his toy robot.
Yeah.
But he's the kid that everything's supposed to hinge on, but the personalities are the mom, you know, and the fucking robots, the people that are fucking killing everybody.
Salvation was fucking garbage. Like, I never want to watch that movie again, even though I was informed today that I will have to for Monster Madness.
Why, is that the modern equivalent of something old?
No, so she has every season broken down by different concepts, so we're doing like a robot one.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Why she chose Salvation, actually,
I'm going to push you towards Deadly Friend if it's not already on the list.
And
if you don't do it there, you're going to do it here because
that's fine.
Christy Swanson.
Fuck. So the other thing that bothered me was that Edward Furlong is de-aged. Like, they made a big deal about him being in the new Terminator movie, and then he de-aged. He's de-aged and in the movie for 30 seconds.
Did they de-crack him?
Well, he looks exactly like he does when he's 13. Like, they probably could have, or whatever age. Like, they probably could have just made him completely computer animated, and it wouldn't have fucking mattered.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what they did.
So, Jesus Christ.
Like, that should be the Terminator movie. That should be the modern day Terminator movie, is creating AI versions of characters in films and stuff and people just believing it. That's what it is today with character assassination. Not like we don't have to fucking kill John Connor. We just have to ruin him. That's modern day.
He ruined himself.
Well, I know, but that's...
Deadly Friend is on this one, as is every fucking Terminator movie. Like 1 and 2, I'm not upset about. 3, Rise of the Machines, I haven't seen in a really long time. Salvation, never want to watch again. And then Genesis, we just talked about.
God, like Rise of the Machines, I just remember being so bored during that film. And I had Claire Danes in it. I like Claire Danes a lot, especially at that point in time. I just remember watching it and going, where the fuck is Sarah Connor?
That Claire Danes is one fine piece of ace. No?
I'm not.
There's a Billy Madison reference about how Claire Danes is attractive.
Yes,
Veronica Vaughn is one fine piece of ace.
Veronica Vaughn, what is that from?
Billy Madison. That's the teacher.
Billy Madison. That's right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, man, the franchise thing is hard enough, but then to do your franchises 40 years after the originals, like the Dr. Sleep thing, is also, that's nutty. And there's still the, like, I know Beat's saying that it's really good, and I believe him, But it's still kind of weird because it's got to deal with the fact that it's based off of a movie that was based off of a book, but the movie and the book are so different from each other.
Right.
And how do they play that out? So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there was some like I'm looking at taking Alyssa to Denver for vacation in like spring, and I want to go to the Stanley and stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And because I started looking at prices, I signed up for whatever deal alert shit that they feel like they were gonna do. And when Doctor Sleep came out, they sent out a bunch of emails, and it's like you can come see the movie here. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Like they're really
That is
playing
cool.
into that, so it's helping that hotel as a business that Doctor Sleep is coming out.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's like a little more than just the fact that they're rehashing a 40-year-old story or whatever way you want to look at it. But
And I constantly see like 1,001 sweaters and pants and shoes. Aaron bought some shoes, but they sent her the wrong fucking size and they won't take them back. Of this design from the carpet in the movie.
Yeah.
And so like there's a fandom for this stuff, but I also don't think that when I saw the ads for Dr. Sleep that it really did enough to show that it was continuation of The Shining.
If it wasn't for knowing that it was the sequel to The Shining, there's no fucking way I ever would have known based on the even the name. Like even if you were paying attention and you heard that they call him Dan Torrance, like would you know?
Right. Yeah, it's a weird situation to be in. And at this point in time where Stephen King is having this kind of resurgence again, it's kind of a bummer that it hits this road bump of like we go from the It sequel, which good, not wonderfully received compared to the first one, but I think it did well, to then this. And then I'm not hearing a lot of people talking about the Hulu series, which I've only watched half of the first season, so I want to get back to it. And he's got some new HBO series that's coming out in January. It's like there should be a lot more stuff about Stephen King kind of being talked about, but I'm not seeing the interest that's matching that.
I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird time for everything.
Yeah.
Think of bands coming back that were gone for 10, 12 years, 15 years, whatever, or bands that never really went away get a resurgence. There's sequels and remakes, and there's no official plot on what it is, but Paranormal Activity is coming back in 2021.
Right.
So, like, could we just get a fucking original story?
Well, that's it. We had the Jigsaw movie
and
that came back.
Another one of those.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And we had Rings had some new version.
The Grudge is being remade.
The Grudge is being remade for America again. Yeah, I just, man, I always complain about remakes and relaunches of just, they haven't been that long ago. Is it really that necessary? On the other hand, when you have the flip side of, oh, this is a sequel to a movie from 40 years ago, I guess that didn't work out either.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so rough. We got a hunger for so much content that we keep going to the same drawing board in the films and TV in a lot of ways. It's like Punky Brewster's got a new show coming out because I guess Fuller House is just like cracked open the fucking pinata of everything of like, hey, every shitty show that you might have liked a little bit as a kid, there's going to be a new version.
Well, so Beat said that there are more original movies being released than ever. I was really waiting to see. Nobody goes to watch them, let alone talk about them, which I think that's a really good point. Is there is a ton of original shit coming out. It's just you never hear about it
because they expect the people are going to want the big the investment is in the giant films, and they're not making new movies as giant films.
Yeah. Since you mentioned hunger, I think we should really get into our Taco Bell minute. I don't remember what was out the last time we recorded, but right now they got the double chalupa box. Double chalupa being the feature item of the month. There's a Baja Blast birthday freeze.
Isn't there a Pornhub video about the double chalupa box?
Double chalupa box. I'm not gonna look it up. Maybe after my next beer. The Grande Nachos box with seasoned beef, $5. That's gonna be a good deal.
I have been spoiled shitty by my new building. We just built this like giant ass fucking megadome, Apple looking place. 44,000 square feet. It's holding about 15,000 employees. The cafe in there, like they got actual chefs.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have a pizza oven
Living that
in
good
my
life.
building.
Right.
Yeah, like a real open flame, hot as shit pizza oven in this thing. Uh, and it's all kind of hugely subsidized.
Yeah.
So it's incredible. Yesterday I had it was from the salad area, so it was shrimp and peanuts and pineapple on like glass noodles, I think, with some basil and stuff.
I don't, for whatever reason, I was like, you just ate a glass salad?
Well, no, it was kind of like a pad thai,
Yeah.
but
I know what glass noodles are. Just
yeah,
the mental image of you just chewing on
yeah,
glass.
chewing a glass.
Yeah.
It's not high school anymore. But it was really good, and it was like $5 for this fucking thing, and it was
Not at all.
yeah, crazy. We've got the Starbucks is subsidized, and then they've got coffee stations everywhere. So like every 100 feet, there's a coffee station. There are more coffee stations than there are restrooms.
Oh, damn.
So it's insane. So like we have gone from going out every day for lunch to going out maybe once in a week when we feel up to it, because it's also been snowing and shitty here. We've just been staying in and eating there all the time. And yeah, like I was thinking the other day, like I haven't had tacos in a while. That would be kind of nice. And I remembered that I did make tacos not too long ago, but not the same as like going shitty ass tacos from Taco Bell.
Right. Oh, I love Taco Bell so much.
So yeah, I'm eating worse at home right now because Erin's sending me to McDonald's because she didn't want to deal with the just like we were both kind of feeling crappy and everything. She's like, "Go get McDonald's." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll get McDonald's, and I'll get some cheeseburgers." So I am on fast food again, which I'm not happy about. Yeah. But
they have a double fillet of fish that I really want to try.
So here's a fillet of fish, which is already crap, and then we're gonna give you two.
It's fucking. There's something special about them. The Quick Trips here, gas stations. I know you don't have them. They have like a fish sandwich that reminds me very much of a fillet of fish, and it kind of turns me on a little.
Yeah, I can see that. You know, I like the McChicken sandwich from McDonald's quite a bit.
Have we talked about a McGangbang?
Yeah, the burger. Well, I mean, I know all about it. I don't know that I could ever work up to saying that to the 15-year-old girl who's working in the drive-thru.
You just buy a double cheeseburger and a McChicken, and then you make the gangbang yourself.
But a self-produced gangbang is never as good as getting a gangbang provided to you.
Do you make me a McGangbang? Just, Mister.
Like, I feel like that whole thing was created just so somebody could feel like they can get away with saying that to some poor teenager.
Is that a sex scene with James McAvoy in it? It is now.
There's just, I don't know. The fast food thing, it's still rough. It's still like I want to just get past it. I want to do better. The new stuff at work, like I'm trying to do better. But then there's just, it's enticing. It's just every once in a while you want fucking Arby's. You want.
Oh, I completely agree. Like everyone, like I don't necessarily consider cousins to be fast food, but I had cousins a couple times not that long ago. I really wanted to go to McDonald's, but I just didn't want to deal with going to McDonald's.
Right.
Yeah. So I completely understand. There's something special about garbage food.
Yeah, I've been back in Michigan for just over a year, and there's not one necessarily by us, but I still haven't had White Castle since coming back. So my last like 10 or 20 experiences of White Castle have been getting them from Safeway frozen, and they taste exactly the same. It's not like there's, and I don't think I'd get anything weird off the menu from White Castle, but it would just be kind of cool to go to White Castle. It's one of those things that because it's a home thing, you want to get it again.
I've made the mistake of going to White Castle, and then it was about the second time I ate it when I realized that it smells the same going out as it does going in.
Yes. Yes, it does. It's like eating Smurfberry Crunch in the 80s. It's like, wow, this blue color cereal is kind of, well, it's crappy, but it's okay. And then all of a sudden you check your stool later on and it's the exact same color and almost the same consistency. Like, oh, Well, I feel like I just did some sort of damage to myself that's taken about 15 years off of my life. Thanks,
Or
Mercury Crunch.
the Mystery Crunch from Dairy Queen did that and like made your shit purple.
Yeah,
Man,
that's a sign of quality product there.
what a time to be alive. Purple poop.
I mean, don't get too honed in on it because you won't be alive for long if that is what you're eating and why you're eating it. It's just I want to make my dookie sparkle.
Just fucking was that the Chappelle show or
Yeah.
Is it Puff Daddy or whatever? It's the Cribs and he has the diamond grinder so he can make his dookie sparkle. Oh, God, that was a fucking good one.
Do you think that character is just basically like Kanye watched that once in a fever dream and decided that that's who he is now?
Yeah, it wasn't a person. It was it Tron? Was it his character Tron?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It's quite possible. Fucking Kanye.
Like I'm as weirded out as Kanye has made me. I mean, it's not like I've ever been a Kanye fan or anything, anyways. But as weirded out as he's made me with the weird shit that he's done since about the time that he told Taylor Swift that she wasn't good enough, because that's helpful.
Fucking
like
decision. Like I don't care for Taylor Swift's music, but she still makes more money probably playing one concert than I do in an entire year.
Oh yeah, no, but it's just this guy now going to religion is his next thing. Like the Kanye activist is weird enough on its own, but the Kim Kardashian activist is even weirder because when she does it, it seems kind of normal. When he does it, it's just like Kanye's. There's not a deep end deep enough that he's gone off of.
Because he seems dumb. Like he doesn't seem like he's doing anything with real, like genuine intent. It just seems like he's a fucking idiot. And we're probably gonna get kicked off the internet for talking shit to Kanye. He did point out that nobody messed with the Yeezus, man. Yeah, I mean he's probably whatever.
He's kicking it with Joel Osteen. Like the hell.
I guess if someone who's super rich is gonna hang out with some religious figure, it might as well be Joel Osteen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Jimmy Swaggart isn't available anymore, so.
Fuck, man. I don't know who Jimmy Swaggart is, but he sounds fucking cool.
Oh yeah, the 80s
cool. Guess
evangelists.
Next weekend.
What's that?
Guess who I'm gonna meet next weekend?
I don't know. Your destiny.
Danielle Harris.
Oh, right on.
She's in Chicago, and I'm gonna try really hard not to touch her boobies. Actually, totally won't. That makes it sound like I'm gonna molest this girl. No, I'm just very excited because I would leave my wife in a heartbeat if she asked me to. Like, I'm sure my wife would leave me for her to.
Yeah, it would be a step up. But
her lung's also there.
I am gonna make this weird for you. She was in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
I mean, she was also as the babysitter.
No, she was the little sister in the movie.
I mean, she was the little sister.
She was a kid in the Halloween films, I know.
You know what's really weird is you can pay to get a picture of her in that costume.
That's
super weird because she's fucking gorgeous now, and
I
want to J on her bees. So to get a picture of what she looked like as like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, something there, not exactly something that I really see as cool.
When I met Corey Haim, I got a picture of him from Prayer for the Roller Boys for my best friend, who's always been a fan of it, and his name's Corky, and he'd like had similar hair to him and that and everything. And I got one that was probably like Lost Boys era Corey Haim. That's a different story. I'm not like having Corey Haim sex fantasies, at least not by himself. You know, you got to do both. You got to get Haim and Feld.
Did you tag him in at all?
What's that?
Did you tag Corey Heyman at all?
No, but you know, he passed away very shortly afterwards.
No, thanks, bud.
But yeah,
I totally derailed you. I'm sorry.
I know, because it's funny because we mentioned Claire Danes earlier, and Claire Danes is very attractive, but the thing that I remember Claire Danes from the most is when she was a 15-year-old, you know, and it was about the show, and then she just turned out to be hot later on. But yeah,
you're really fucking jealous. Guess who else is there?
Who's that?
the Soska sisters.
Oh, see, they're awesome.
Yeah.
They've got a new movie. They've got a remake that they're doing that's coming out.
Get unstabbed yet? Did you get blocked by Scott Stapp too?
No, I don't talk to Scott Stapp.
Well,
He knows what he did.
You got unstabbed.
No, I think he's just asking to make a joke.
Rabid?
Yeah, they're doing a remake of Rabid.
Oh, yeah, it's on their little picture.
But man, I know it's been a while, everything since we watched it, but I love Dead Hooker in a Trunk. I was so excited when we found that movie, because when you used to rate the show, the films with how many dead hookers, and then I really dig that film. I loved just the moves that they made in the choices in that film, and I would really dig it if they did more stuff like that, like stuff that they were in. I know it was like low budget, they weren't the greatest actors or whatever else, but man, it was such a fun fucking little flick, and I'm glad that they're doing all the stuff they're doing. I'm glad that they're popular, and it's great. That's the kind of thing that I like their indie stuff. You know, I liked them back when nobody heard of them. At that point in time, people had heard of them, but we hadn't. It was new to us.
Goddamn hipster. So
I felt a little hipster there. I didn't mean for it to sound that way, but there was something just so pure about the early shit.
Yeah, Beat pointed out that we coined unstabbed as being blocked by Scott Stapp. So you've not been unstabbed yet?
I have not. I thought that was going to be your new social media excursion, like Untapped, except
Unstabbed. It's only for people who have been blocked by Scott Stapp. It's the Scott Stapp social media block support group.
Yeah, it's definitely like Hoffspace, except the opposite of Hoffspace.
Is Hoffspace a real thing?
Hoffspace was real. Hoffspace was out when MySpace was probably getting to the point where it was just like it was losing all of its users to go over to Facebook. But David Hasselhoff started Hoffspace. Huh?
I didn't realize that he funded it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I assume that everybody on there just speaks German exclusively.
Do you guys remember the time that David performed on the wall?
Yes.
I'm just clickbait's really taking me over here. There's a giant aloe branch and it says, "If you have diabetes, do this now." Like, well, I don't, but I'm curious of where the world's largest aloe plant came from. Yeah, it does. The website still doesn't exist. I'm really upset about it because I wanted to do some internet research on Hoffspace.
But isn't it sad? Like, Justin Timberlake came in and tried to save MySpace and redo it for all the music stuff, and his investment in MySpace is less cool than David Hasselhoff creating his own MySpace ripoff that's just about him. Mm-hmm. Like, if I say Justin Timberlake in MySpace, everyone goes, "Oh, God damn it, what a fucking weak move," J Tibbs. I don't know if that's but I say Hoffspace and you like your nipples immediately poke your microphone out of the way.
Oh man, yeah, jealous. Fuck. So we have a movie.
Yeah, we do. We promised this a long time ago. We promised it before Anthony's last episode.
Yeah, I can never remember the full name of the movie, so it's up to you right now.
Yeah, every time I look it up on IMDb, I have a problem with it too. It is Sorority Babes at the Slime Ball Bolorama. Mm-hmm. And I always want to like add on Of Death or something, like it's a fortune cookie. I don't know why. Because it's just like... So did you watch it through my version of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so did you watch the 20 minutes of previews that...
Yeah. I was very confused.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if this movie's available in any legitimate places. I think it actually might be on Shudder right now. But I had found it backhandedly. Sorry, audience. Mm-hmm. And the version that I have has about 20 minutes for these cult movies. And I think it was like Cult Films was the name of the company or whatever that was distributing all this stuff. And it was a lot of them were by the director of this and other things.
it was very clear that someone had a VHS tape that they converted to a digital format, and that's how.
But that may have been the DVD. That may have been how like they got the DVD out, is they just took a VHS tape somebody taped off of
I'm
USA
sure.
Up All Night.
At first, I thought like, well, maybe this is the whole point, is that it's just like
It's just bad previews.
Yeah.
So some of the movies on there were like the Avocado of Death, like Amazon Women, the Avocado Jungle of Death, which is the one with Bill Maher.
Yeah.
And Adrienne Barbeau. And that one's reasonably famous. That one, like, people, if you have any kind of knowledge of B movies, and this one is probably the second most famous. And this one is famous primarily because of the fact that, one, USA Up All Night used to play it all the time, Rhonda Shear, but two, because it has the three B movie scream queens, Linnea Quigley, and the other ones I didn't remember as well. Brienne, somebody or another, Lisa, whoever. But they were
all very popular in these types of movies. Like Linnea, we've seen in a couple of things now because she was in Silent Night, Deadly Night. She's the one who gets impaled on the deer horns.
I feel like since you mentioned the there's a remake of Black Christmas coming out too.
Yeah, the PG-13 version of Black Christmas.
Yeah.
The female empowerment version of Black Christmas. I don't know what they're going for with that. Aaron and I saw the preview when we went to see it Chapter 2, and she just looked at me, she's like, "Who the fuck is doing this and why?" And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I don't get it, but it's fine.
She was triggered. It's okay.
Linnea Quigley was also in. I think you and Jack did Night of the Demons while I was traveling across the country.
I believe so.
If you did the original, not the remake with Shannon Elizabeth, then she was in that as well. So yeah, she's just like in a ton of stuff. She was in Return of the Living Dead, the first one. She's great. So like, to me, when it comes to Scream Queens, she's always the first person I think of. I know Jamie Lee Curtis belongs up there. A lot of other people too. But like, this is like, when I think person who has made the biggest mark in like B quality horror films, I always go to Linnea Quigley first and foremost.
Yeah.
And so I had not seen this movie. I had seen parts of it on USA Up All Night when I was a teenager. I was probably like 18 or 19 at the time. I remember my best friend Paul, his dad, like totally was into Rhonda Shear. And so he would always be watching that on Friday nights when she was on it. It was like Friday nights was Rhonda Shear, Saturday nights was Gilbert Gottfried. And so he would always be watching the Rhonda Shear stuff. And I remember being over at Paul's house and this movie being on. I'm like, that's a really interesting title for a movie. And that's what all of these previews were just like Attack of the Killer Bimbos, Space Babes from the whatever galaxy, like all these films, they're all just basically softcore Cinemax late night stupid fare. And like, this is the kind of shit that I just enjoy how ridiculous it is. Like, we have done a vast array of different movies on the show. Yeah. And this is certainly closer to a Santa Sleigh kind of film.
Except there's no Bill Goldberg.
But there's no Goldberg. But it cracks me up. It just cracks me up so much. And it doesn't try to be anything beyond what it is. And it just, like, the first half of the movie is sort of like an Animal House, or maybe more of like a private school, if you've ever seen that with Phoebe Cates.
Yeah.
And then it goes into a caper of like, oh, we have to send them to go steal this thing from a bowling alley for no arbitrary reason. And then all of a sudden a fucking imp shows up and starts turning them into demons and shit.
It took a very weird turn.
It took a few.
It started with the first.
Yeah, it's. But I've been wanting to do this. One, because it just seems like it's so hacky and ridiculous. And two, because, it also seemed like, well, Matt's going to like this because there's full frontal in it.
The internet is full frontal too.
The internet does. But how often do we get to talk about what you watch on the internet when we're doing this show?
We could right now if you'd like.
That's true. Yeah. Are you going to read the whole list of categories on Pornhub again?
should we do porn tube this time, or
I want you to do it in one breath. I want you to like really build up to it and then see if you pass out.
I'm gonna have to practice.
Yeah, I'm afraid of what your practice sessions are gonna look like.
I keep
just
getting
like
halfway through, and then I gotta beat off.
3 fucking trees worth of Kleenex in the room. Just
no, you're just gonna come back, and the blinds behind me.
Don't say come back to me in this conversation.
Pete, I got rid of my Twitter when I found out Scott Stapp blocked me and realized that Twitter was not for me anymore. So he's talking about a redirect, and I don't know, man. I miss Scott Stapp. Although I started following him on Instagram, so I think he's back in my life.
Oh, he hasn't blocked you there yet. Does he know?
No, I've tried to get him to block me there. We haven't gotten there yet.
You were the little fucking boy who's pulling the girl's pigtails because you've got a crush on her, and so you're mercilessly abusing Scott Stapp.
I'm not abusing Scott Stapp.
Well, the thing is that nobody's gonna care. Nobody gives a shit. It's like, well, fucking Scott Stapp. All right, sure. Like we're not pointing fingers of like bad Matt, bad boy. But you just seem to love him so much. And at the same time, the way that you show your love is just.
But I don't like. I don't think I like him that much. Like Creed is fine, but I don't think their music is actually great.
No, not at all. Like I would never have a conversation with anybody about Creed, as opposed to like, I would have a warning. I would have contents may contain Creed. Watch your ass. But I would never like be talking about Creed if not for you.
You're welcome for that, by the way.
Like Nickelback is funnier to say, oh yeah, like bad music, Nickelback, because it's got the hard K. Hard K is funny. That's humor. That's just comedy 101. But Creed is just not funny. It's just sort of sad. Like you can't even claim like the most despised band publicly by people who might not even really deserve it, because Nickelback beat you out for that. You're nothing. You're just goddamn nothing. You wrote a song about golden streams, so of course we've got all the P jokes, but that's it. That's all we got. You just have this desire to just Stappify yourself. Why?
I don't even think he can talk to you anymore.
Where did Scott Stapp touch you? Or where didn't he touch you? Is that what you're upset about?
Didn't touch me, and that's the problem.
Didn't you like see him in a Denny's or something?
No, I wish. No, I was just in Kansas really drunk, and that's how he blocked me.
That's how I was drunk in Kansas, and then Scott Stapp blocked me. And then I clicked my heels together 3 times and wished to be in a death metal band.
I kind of want to start a band that's just like death metal Creed covers.
No? Yeah, that's a way to rock it to hell.
Sure. Is it really a rocket to hell though?
It's it's probably a Sputnik to hell.
Is that a Russian joke?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's a Russian joke, but I guess I'm just curious.
I don't know. It's Creed.
Yeah, we should probably fucking get back to this movie because I feel the need to pee coming on.
Yep.
That was quick.
Yeah, it's not going to take long with you.
No, I guess
that's what she said.
I didn't realize we've been recording for almost an hour already.
No, I know. And we're just now getting into the first 2 minutes of conversation about the film. Welcome back to PoT, everybody.
Yeah, right. Did you miss us? I'm going to rely really heavily on you for this because I watched it a really long time ago, and
you didn't rewatch it, you dick.
No, I decided I was actually a really productive adult instead all day.
All right. What do you remember?
I don't know, man. I just played video games.
I napped.
No, I didn't. I thought about it.
I'm sitting here in my bathrobe, looking like death warmed over because I napped all day. But that's how I look at all the shows. That is the appearance that I present to you, the viewer. Where do you remember the movie starting? Like, what do you remember about it? I'll fill in blanks, but I want you to take lead on something.
Like really nothing. I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie to you. I remember it being really cheesy, and then all of a sudden, they were going bowling for some reason.
Not at all what happened. All right, so it starts out with three guys in I guess a dorm room apartment kind of thing. They're all in college, and they're talking about the Felta Deltas, which, what Greek symbol is a Felta? Is it a fish?
Greek symbol Delta.
Like Gefelta Delta?
That shit doesn't exist.
No, it probably doesn't. It's just a great thing to say for a made-up sorority. So, two of the guys are like the same nerd. Like they look the same, except one of them is just obsessed with watching movies and stuff on TV, and the other one is reading through Penthouse. But I could not begin to like. Usually, there's like a category of the geeks that you have, like the one who's kind of cool. You have the nerdy guy with the glasses. You have the overweight guy. One of them is a sex addict, but two of these guys are sex addicts, and two of them are super nerdy, and just one of them's fat. So already the ratios are off, but I guess they just worked with what they got. And these guys are like, "Oh, we're gonna go check out the Felta Deltas because it's their time of like bringing in the new recruits and shit." And that's what I call trying to get in sorority. And
My wife was home. I could ask her what it's like, but
yeah, it's weird. Like not my thing.
let's.
Yes.
I'm gonna just pee now.
Yeah, you should pee
So
now.
that I don't have to like do. I was buying time to pause.
Okay.
I'm gonna pee quick because I got another not so great beer. So I'm gonna get something different.
All right.
Pee, and then we'll pick this one up.
Okay.
I'm not gonna turn my camera off because I'm lazy.
Yeah. So this is for the YouTube people only. And hi YouTube, if in fact you do exist anymore. And Beats put a little triangle in our thing, so he's either it's not pink, so he must be talking about the deltas, which what are the deltas? But that's no, the triangle is the symbol for the lambda, right? Am I remembering that right? Because in Revenge of the Nerds, it was the three triangles. Looks like the Triforce, but they're the trilambs. Am I remember that right? I don't know. It's all Greek to me. I get to make that joke. Man, like this movie is right in tune. It takes place probably like 6 or 7 years later than Revenge of the Nerds, but it is just so perfectly 80s problematic that it's kind of perfect. It's so bad that that everything that we thought was just as kids watching movies about college and stuff, it was really just a license to sexually harass everybody. That's what all my friends and I thought, that what we were taught by Hollywood is, hey, you go to college and rape is legal. And I feel like it kind of was. I feel like it really was until they took back the night. And even then it was like, well, we took back the night, but we're going to let you have access to the night sometimes. God, it's so gross. It's so gross. And it's so weird that society really treated it like it was okay. And we just didn't know. We had no idea. Dumb kids.
Did I miss anything good?
No, that conversation was just for me and Beat.
Oh, that's fine. I kind of figured that's what it was. All right. Wherever the hell you were in the movie.
Are we started? All right.
All right.
Okay, so the three guys go and stand outside the window of the Felta Deltas.
Yes.
And so the two girls are getting hazed by the 3 women of the sorority. So already a pretty fucking small sorority. There's 3 women in charge, and there's 2 people that are trying to get in there. And one of them like really wants to get in, and the other one is like, this is bullshit. We need to get the fuck out of here. No, we really need to be part of this sorority. And that, why? I never get that. It does it make you popular? Because these bitches would be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
But they do have them parading around in half cut off t-shirts where it's like that just below the line on the breasts.
I think that's the benefit to being in a sorority.
Is that you get to dress like a whore around the house.
No, it's just that there are boobs at all times.
Well, there is, yeah. And so it makes them popular with everybody else, including the 3 creepy guys outside the window. So yeah, they're wearing these t-shirts that are basically holding nothing back and panties. And so the first part of the hazing is getting beat with a paddle, which is straight up out of Animal House. So they're bent over a couch. And so the guys are all watching this from the window. And I think, okay, this is the titillating part of the movie. This is where we're at, is like this is why people signed up to watch this. But then 2 of the other hazers like come out with cans of whipped cream and spray them down. And like, again, like that's hazing, I guess. It's weird. Usually we're trying to murder people or have them lay down in traffic. But then they like go like, oh, we've got whipped cream all over us. So it goes up to the most just like weirdest bathroom ever. They're standing there with like a handheld shower thing in a shower that has nothing covering around it. So you just kind of wonder. Like I watch a lot of HGTV. I consider the Mold Factor and all these other things. I guess in the 80s we just had this old house, like it didn't matter. But so they're both standing there naked in the bathroom. Like one of them's already cleaned up. The other one is like spraying with this really low water pressure handheld thing. So it's not doing good for anybody. And she's trying to get the whipped cream off. So there's our dual full frontals of the film. And the guys break into the house and go upstairs and are standing outside the door. So again, this really reminds me of Private School. It like rips off a couple of things pretty well in this. But then the head of the sorority comes up, catches them, hits him on the ass with the paddle, puts him through the door, and then says, well, we could murder you because you're just rapists who came in here. So it acknowledges that this is not okay. That these guys are potential rapists. They are definitely in some legal trouble, but instead she's like, yeah, I'm gonna send you 3 guys with my 2 unprotected recruits to teach you all a lesson somehow, and you're gonna go break in this bowling alley and steal a trophy to prove to us that you did it. I don't know what her end game is here, because it turns out her dad owns the mall where the bowling alley is, and so they're going to go and they're going to watch them, but it's never like we're going to do this and then we're going to call the cops and get them busted. It's like they just go to watch them over the video screens while they're doing this. So
I need to go clean up beer. Hold on.
Yeah. That was subtle. I didn't even know what happened. Lambda is weird. That's not a lowercase a. What did you do?
I fucking opened a beer and it gushed everywhere.
It was all the talk about the full frontal.
In my favorite adult films. Gooshed everywhere. Sorry, you may continue.
All right. Yeah, so I don't know why they're doing this, other than the fact that it's the plot of the movie. That's why. Don't read too far into it, kids. So they go to the bowling alley, and while they're there, they run into Linnea Quigley's character, Spider. Spider is, according to the Wikipedia of note, she is a biker chick, although she rides a scooter. And,
Scooter's still a bike.
It's a bike.
Fuck.
Matt can't drink. Matt's really bad at drinking. Guys, if you have listened to Matt all this time and thought, well, Matt, he's an experienced alcoholic. No, he's really bad at it.
This is a fucking nightmare.
Were these joke beers? They taste awful and they just like...
No, a really, really good friend of mine who normally sends me really good beer, and they were just all pumpkin stuff, and he hates it. So I'm sure that there's no ill intent, but he sent me 46 pounds of beer in the mail.
Holy.
Yeah, it was like 30 some odd cans.
Wow.
And this one I opened it and it just blew up everywhere, which is not impossible to happen with beer.
No.
Or carbonates or whatever.
But it's not skunked or anything. It's not.
No.
Well, it's cans.
Fucking cheesecake pumpkin beer. I really.
Oh. Pumpkin cheesecake is like legit probably my favorite dessert.
Yeah.
And
fucking sucks that now there's fucking liquid everywhere. Yeah, I have a drinking problem like Stryker on an airplane.
Ted Stryker? Yeah.
Yeah. God, this one tastes like shit too. Well, I poured it up, so I'm gonna have to drink it now.
Yeah, too late.
All right, I'm sorry. Back to where.
Linnea Quigley's there. She's broken into the place to rip open the cash register. I don't understand how it's taking her the 2 hours that it seems to be to do this, but yeah, she's trying to rob the place. And our main nerd guy, who's like the most normal one out of them, Calvin, is like, he's the one who finds her. So of course, instant like sexual tension. Will they, won't they? And everybody's wandering around. She helps them. She hates them all. She keeps saying how much she wants them to leave her alone. But she does help them go get the trophy so that they will all fucking leave. And then they're fighting afterwards to the point of they drop the trophy, and out from the trophy comes an imp, Mr. or Uncle Impy, something like that.
How many times have you seen this movie?
Now 2.
Did you rewatch it today?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, you remember an awful lot about this.
Because we talked about whether or not we should watch it again. And we talked about doing it on the air. I don't know if that would help you.
I mean, I'd be able to make comments as they happen, but that's really about it.
So this is where the whole thing of the movie just like it suddenly becomes a film, but it's a very different thing from what it acted like for the first half hour or so of it going.
It takes a weird turn. I remember that. But this movie's only like, what, an hour long?
It seems short.
It was an hour and a half, and then there were 20, 30 minutes of
previews.
Yeah, sorry. So, yeah.
So Uncle Impy shows up, starts granting them wishes for freeing him. He gives the fat guy stacks of gold. He gives one of the girls, one of the sorority recruits, she wanted to be the prom queen, so he gives her a prom dress, and she just dances around like she's fucking the prom queen now for nobody. Like, I'm the prom queen. Nobody's here to look at me. It's enough just to be nominated. And he gives the other perv nerdy guy permission to go have sex with the other sorority chick. So he's like, yeah, my wish is to go bang this chick. So that girl who's also supposed to be getting a wish doesn't get a wish. She just becomes a sex slave that's obsessed with him and like spends a half hour slowly working up to bang him. Like, he's on the ground, she's on top of him. She eventually takes off her top. Then she eventually takes off her garters. And then I think it was getting to the underwear, but like, it just like the slowest scene of like, oh, I want to have sex with you so bad, but she's not doing it. I guess I'm a guy. That's all foreplay or something. I don't know. But it was still like, and he's the whole time just seems miserable. Like, not miserable that he created a sex slave by his wish. Just like, oh, I got what I wanted. Am I gay now? Like, he doesn't say that, but it really seems like he's so uncomfortable that he just realized all of a sudden that having sex with women was not for him. Because he's just fighting it.
Isn't this kind of the Weird Science?
The guys create the women out of their dreams, and then they spend the whole movie not having sex with her.
Yep.
When that was her whole purpose.
Yep.
Yeah, but in Weird Science, felt like it was to teach us a lesson.
In this, it was not to teach us a lesson. In this, it was just like, well, we don't have the budget to have the girl actually pretend to have sex with the dude. We're just going to have her get naked on top of him for a while. I don't know. I don't know why it was the way it was. I guess to stretch it out. Because I guess they needed to keep them preoccupied for a longer period of time in the film. And you know damn well that if that guy had actually had sex with her, it would have been like there couldn't be like a hair metal ballad short enough for that scene to happen. Like it just wasn't gonna work.
Oh man, that'd be funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, White Snake. Oh damn it! You know, and the deeper
they announce White Snake, it's over.
Right. David Coverdale walks in and just criticizes him the whole time. You guys know that I'm cooler than Robert Plant, right? You know, just exactly that. I don't know. It just seemed like it was weird that she gets possessed, but then the imp goes to the three queens of the sorority who are doing the whole hazing thing and like turns two of them into monsters, and the other one, because she fell back from her chair, doesn't get turned into a monster then. But he's got like he says that he's not a full powered imp, like he's not as powerful as other imps, but he's got some abilities. So it seems like he's just like parlor trick imp.
Yeah, I remember that being a little odd. Like what makes you a full powered imp as compared to not?
Maybe because he's been in captivity for so long, but he really seems like he's underselling himself a lot when he goes through his diatribe of like, I'm an imp, and with that I've got certain abilities, not as powerful as other ones, but that's fine. That's my impersonation of Uncle Impy. And guys, if you haven't seen this movie, it's fucking spot on.
It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
I'm turned on.
Right. So he electrifies the doors and stuff of the place to keep them all held there, and he turns one of the girls into a
demon by giving her bad acne, and the other one he turns into a bride of Frankenstein because the character's name is Frankie. So why not do that? And then they go and so the wishes that he granted to the other people, like the sex one worked. Like making the one girl the sex slave continues to work, except for the fact that they never have sex. But for the guy he gave the gold turned out just to be blocks of wood. And for the girl he made prom queen, her dress turned out to be fake and was just all shreds and stuff. She's like, what about my dress? And he like mocks them. But third dude is banging or potentially banging away in this locker room with the brainwash girl the whole fucking time. So why waste the effort on that? Why not like have her become a demon on top of him and then like slaughter him? It's really weird how the power stuff works out. I
being a D&D person, I have a system of rules that I think needs to happen for Magic, and it seems like there was a lot of there was like some second edition mixing with some fifth edition, and it just doesn't make sense.
But here's the other thing, like,
oh, please include yourself.
I totally fucking lost it. I had a point, and then he kept talking, and then I was like, oh, here's my chance. Yeah, I got nothing. Really fucked the dog there. Shit.
I really wanted you to be a part of this film because I feel like this is one of those things that I was giving you as a gift.
No, I really didn't care. What I remember not caring for this.
No, it's not good. It was never meant to be a good movie. It was meant to be a dumb movie, and that I'd hoped you would enjoy the dumbness of it.
Babes at the Slime Ball Bolorama. I'm looking up the Wikipedia
to try to remember where we're at.
Yes.
A lot of the movie now becomes the two possessed girls killing the other people.
So this movie is so bad and so little known that there is not even a Wikipedia page for it.
No, there totally is.
Oh, never mind. There is. I started using the new Edge browser, the one that's Chromium based, and the search results are it was like out of order.
Because it's using Bing?
Yes.
Yeah. Edge. We're going to rip off Google, except for the good part.
Yeah.
Microsoft.
I hope they pay us for that ad.
Oh, they should.
No,
I mean,
one's
Bill
on
Gates is already the richest person in the world again. So this week.
Yeah, this week. We'll see what happens. Next week. All right, boobs.
All right, boobs.
Where are we?
So Babs, the sorority headmistress, who's like the total, like, I like spanking people. She tries to run away. That's when she touches the door and turns out to be electrified and knocks her out.
Yep.
So Calvin and Spider spend a lot of time running around trying to hide, and occasionally say things like, "Oh, we should go see if the other people are still alive." Oh, nope, they're not. They take the fat guy's head off and use it to play bowling, because you're in a bowling alley. You have to have a scene where you bowl with somebody's head. There's also the janitor. Do you remember the janitor?
Kinda.
The janitor's got some good pedigree. So he gets locked up into his janitor room when it first starts out, when the sorority women are going there to watch the video. They like bump into the door that he's coming out of, and he's constantly confused. He was in They Live.
He's actually got a lot of things that he's done. But in this, he's definitely the biggest comedy relief.
Buck Flower.
Buck Flower.
Yep.
Yeah. That I loved his 90s hit Stay Tonight. So
Isn't that Buck Fowler?
Maybe.
And that's originally when I saw Buck Flower, I thought it was Buck Fowler. Not the same person, but Buck Flower, you were not kidding, was in literally
a ton of shit.
45 movies.
Maybe
more.
I mean, the three main actresses in this and him all have a large pedigree of films. Like, this is, as crap as this movie is, realistically,
yeah, it's not good.
It should be considered, and is honestly the epitome of the director's things. Like, all the other stuff he did was basically kind of the same shit, but nowhere near the level of what this was. But there's a lot to this that if you're a fan of the horror community, matters, because these actresses are a big deal for horror films. You know, they've been in so much stuff, and he has been in a lot of stuff. And the guy who did the music has actually done a ton of stuff and is still like doing a great bunch of shit. Like, it sort of belies itself of how rank it is, but all these people moved up.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking the other day about what I used to watch on USA Up All Night, and one of the things was an early Adam Sandler movie where he was on a cruise ship.
What?
Like, before anybody heard of him. I think it was around the same time that he was doing Remote Control, so I don't think he'd been on Saturday Night Live yet.
Holy shit. Let's see here. Going Overboard?
That's probably it.
First thing he was ever in.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, he is on the cover.
Well, yeah, because he's Adam Sandler. By the time that people notice the film and they actually try to do release stuff for it.
Was this any good?
I don't remember anything about it other than the fact that it was him, and I'm like, oh, it's that guy from Remote Control. What's he doing?
Huh. That guy's going to have a pretty good career.
I think he was probably on Saturday Night Live by the time it showed up on USA Up All Night.
Probably.
But it was like when he's doing Opera Man and shit. He hadn't hit Adam Sandler level of knowledge, and we hadn't had Billy Madison or anything, so it's like, but yeah, it might be you being the fan of him that you are. You might want to check that out.
But I also, I don't know. Was this his first attempt to turn a paid vacation into a movie? I believe so. But I don't know if you put someone else in Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, they may just be as good of movies as with him. You know what I mean?
No, as much as I have problems with a lot of his work and everything, there is a purity to the character that he's playing. Is just it's him. It's got to be him that does this. Like Will Ferrell playing characters, nobody else is going to pull that off like Will Ferrell does. Yeah, I think that those films are successful because of the personality and the electricity of the people that are in them. And Will Ferrell can definitely have a bomb, and Adam Sandler can have a bomb, but
Adam Sandler's had plenty of bombs.
Yeah, But if you're watching it at all, it's because of them.
No, and that's a good point. Pete says he likes Little Nicky, which is funny because Little Nicky was like one of his first hated movies.
Oh God, I can't even get through that thing. I can't get through his character.
I don't care about like the character didn't bother me. I haven't seen it in a really long time. So I'm gonna
It's
change
just
that.
the look.
The voice, everything about it, I can't watch. I can handle the Water Boy, but Little Nicky, I just can't even like sit 5 minutes of that film. And there's some amazing stuff in there. Like, isn't Ozzy Osbourne in there? And Reese Witherspoon plays his mom. Like, it's such weird shit, but I can't sit through it.
Kevin Nealon gets the tits on his head.
Right. I don't remember that part. I've never been able to watch that much of it.
I like have just a visual memory of him putting a bra on his head.
And it's also one of those movies that's like it's about the two guys that he's always hanging out with more than it is him. The guys who did Grandma's Boy.
Yeah, Grandma's Boy is a fucking.
Grandma's Boy is a great movie, but I don't like those guys. Like they keep showing up in everything. It's like, God damn it, I don't need to watch them.
They're in all of his movies though.
They pretty much are, yeah. And I don't know if they're in that Overboard film, but
I don't know. I think
like he didn't make that. They gave him that to do. So it might be something. It'd be like watching. It's like watching basketball. It's not the South Park guys. Huh?
You just want to switch this to like a comedy movie podcast?
I kind of feel like it already is.
So I think what we should do is at some point in like episode 200, just switch to comedy movies. Don't change the name. Don't change anything. Just switch movies.
Oh, like when we did 80s percentile?
Well, that was April Fool's, though.
That was an April Fool's.
That's also the.
But not everybody knew that.
No,
we did not do that well.
No, that's fine. All right. I think.
But no, I've already given you a podcast about action films, so like.
Kinda.
I gave you the basis.
Yes.
But no, what you did with it, I think, was magical.
Yeah, when it happens. But I just decided to try and do it with the world's busiest human being.
Well, yeah, but also one of the coolest human beings, and therefore, that's what makes it enticing.
You can tell how many beers I've had because my hair is starting to stand up because I keep pushing it back.
That's it's goddamn sexy, is what it is.
Well, I didn't wash my hair today because it's the dry season, so it's very malleable.
No, but it's got such life, such brilliant little curls. I could just.
You know how many times I
can live in that.
They're like, I really like your hair. I'm like, oh, it's fucking creepy, but thanks.
No, you've got great hair.
On your ass.
Like it's so coarse and luscious.
I've heard from more than one middle-aged women that I have great hair, and like even bald guys will look at me and like, man, you have really nice hair. I'm like, I fucking never I take for granted the hair that I have. But
there's that line in Steve Martin's The Lonely Guy where he's talking about how you always see homeless people and they've got just a really gorgeous head of hair. He's like, I think it's because they don't wash it, and it's like this weird conversation that he has in the middle of this movie, which is already a weird movie. But I used
to wash my hair like multiple times a day, and my head would get so dry. So that's why I started only washing it every other day.
No, I'm that guy who like I have to wash my hair because I don't feel right, and also I think it depends on your skin type and stuff too. Like Erin can go a few days without washing her hair, and it looks great because she can do all the styling shit. I can't style. I'm a wash and go guy. I'm a fucking Pert Plus walking around. I don't use Pert, but it's that mentality is like I need to wash my hair so I can look like a human being. Yeah. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm Quasimodoing down the street.
I mean, you kind of are.
You feel really fucking self-conscious. Like everybody's looking at me like we should stone him. We should do we have rocks nearby?
There are certain days where I don't wash my hair and I go to work and I'm like, oh God, everyone just knows I'm a greaseball today.
Yeah. Or we shit and you don't feel like you got clean enough and you're just self-conscious the whole time. I'm like, is there like a streak? Is there something going on back there that I need to know? Because you can't smell your own shit. You're just so used to it and you're like, am I clean? Huh? You started us down this road, sir. I will fucking take you anywhere you want to go. You point a direction, I will drive. But you got to know, you chose this route.
kind of just want to watch Going Overboard now.
Yeah.
So the fucking people are killing each other in the goddamn movie, the demons and shit. Spider and we'll call him Clifford. I don't remember. They go and they kill one of the demon chicks, and Babs, who was like fighting her off at that point in time, put her face through the back of the bowling lane. Is like, they killed her. You see, we can beat you. We can beat you. He's like, bitch, I don't give a shit. I will turn you into a demon now, and he does. So you think, okay, there's a limit on his power of like he can only enchant 2 people at a time to make them demonic. But then it turns out that third girl was never demonic in the first place. So again, the power structure is really weird. Anyway, the Spider and Crucifix, they go and they meet the janitor guy, and he gives the whole rundown of like, oh, well, the imp was found by this guy who couldn't bowl for shit. And so he summoned the imp, or he found the imp, and he let the imp go, and it gave him powers to bowl better. But then all of these people started getting killed and shit, and then they blame the bad bowler. So he goes and he captures him in the bowling trophy before he goes to jail. And I guess that's kind of the thing. It's like, yeah, I captured this imp. Yeah, we're going to fucking lock you up right now, okay? Because there are a lot of dead bodies around here, and you ain't sound insane. So he's like, and I've kept the secret for years, and I've kept him in this trophy in this bowling alley thinking that he would never get out. I don't get that either. Like, yeah, there's an imp, and he's in a bowling trophy, and I work at the bowling alley, and I know all of it, and I'm just going to leave it on the shelf and hope that nobody fucks with it. Because people never fuck with anything. That's just constant. Like, there couldn't be a random earthquake or something like that where the bowling trophy falls over and opens up, because it goes pretty fucking easy. Anyways, he gets killed.
Sweet.
Like, he does have some of the best lines in the thing, because he's got a hearing aid, and he does that thing where he's like, and then the imp got out, and Linnea Quigley is like, we don't give a shit. He's like, no, he didn't get bit. He got trapped in a trophy. Like that kind of shit where he's like, I hear it wrong, but it all makes sense. Yeah, what else can really be said? They fight the demon people. They chop the head off of the Frankenstein demon, and it hits the door, and the magic cancels out the magic of the door, so that the door opens up. And Calvin, his fucking name's Calvin because it's written on his underwear. Calvin
and Billy Madison when he takes the shirt from Frank. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. You really want to do an Adam Sandler podcast, don't
you?
Actually.
Actually.
So Calvin notices like the magic cancels out the magic. So you think, wow, okay, that's really interesting. That's something that they can do something with down the road. They never do. It's thrown out there like, oh, that just makes sense, but we don't utilize it at all. And they go to leave. Calvin goes to start the car because Spider keeps telling him, go be my little bitch and do the shit I'm telling you because you have no personality otherwise. And then he goes and starts a car. And then the demon that they thought they killed on the bowling lane jumps out from the backseat, and Uncle Impy says, "Demon in the backseat. That's the oldest trick in the book." Which is, he does a lot of things like that. He just makes little crass comments of like when they burn the dude who's trying to have sex in the locker room, they burn his face on a griddle, and he just all of a sudden it switches to Impy, and he's like, "That's a crispy critter," like. Stupid shit lines they just throw out for no reason because I guess they invested in the Impy puppet and they just have to use him sometimes to make some
place they spent their $90,000 was on.
Exactly. it really is. Yeah, the thing was filmed over like 12 days at a bowling alley. They could only film at night, and
we gotta wait until League is done.
Yeah, because we don't have enough money to pay for the bowling alley when it would be open.
Right.
Right. So this really is a movie with like maybe 8 people, 8 characters, and actors at all in it. It's such a simple, basic 80s B movie film, and I really love these kind of movies. And I just think that there's such unmined gold in this schlock kind of territory that we haven't been getting to. And that's why I wanted to bring this to you.
But you didn't like it.
No, I appreciate it for what it's worth, which is like a really shitty 80s movie.
Yeah. But 80s nudity. Like I thought for sure Matt's going to be so happy because there's full frontal and there's actual pubic hair. Like
I don't want to pull hair out of my teeth when I'm done.
Why would you?
That's what I'm saying. So
I just assume that's how you got the beard.
trim that shit up.
You're not manly enough to have that. That's not you.
Fuck, man.
No, it is weird. Like I was mentioning this when we had a pause earlier. It's like the 80s of when it came to college movies and what they pitched to kids watching movies about college antics. It was all just like a bunch of weird rapey shit. And it really made young boys watching this stuff think that this is what college is. You just go to college and you have sex with people, and it doesn't matter if they're into it or not. You just go ahead and do it, and like we'll give them Spanish Fly, or we'll do this, or I'll put on a mask and pretend I'm their boyfriend, and it'll all be okay. Like that's really what that shit was. That it's all seemed like it was. You could just do anything in college. Like there's a time or place for everything, and it's called college. But it seemed like that was the pitch to all young boys, and it's what we kind of followed through on. And so like years later when all this shit is going on and like, wow, there's a lot of rape happening on campus. Should we do anything about this? Oh no, that's just kids being kids. Like, no, it was problematic because that was the glory of college presentation to all of us. I think it was in like when you got the literature about, hey, you've been accepted into this school. So here's how many people you're going to have sex against their will with. And here's where you get all the best drugs to knock them out. And so on and so forth. All that said, 80s also promoted pubic hair on women, and that was important. I don't know why. Cheers. I mean, not as much as 70s did. 70s, your legs had sideburns. That was a totally different. I said the legs have sideburns thing, and Matt shifted his hair, and he looked like fucking Wolverine. Yeah. It was so perfectly timed.
Sneaky. That's because I got a lot of grease. Erica's on this mission to get me to purchase pork roll. I don't know what it is. I've never had it, but spending $50 on something I may or may not like, a little concerning.
Is pork roll an alcoholic beverage? Because it sounds like it would be something that you would get as a case of beer from somebody. And here's our pork flavored.
It's literally just a roll of pork, but now her husband is texting me and saying, I eat one box for breakfast, pussy. And I'm like,
I will pay 1,000 pesos
to hear Dan say that out loud, because I've been listening to Dan. And he's just now, like, you can see that he started out kind of a little timid because he's there with you and Erica, and you guys have been doing podcast stuff for a long time. But he's just now kind of cracking the candy shell of his M&M life. And I would love to hear Dan say, I don't be a little cunt. I can do this for breakfast, you pussy. I want to hear those words from his lips. That will make me super happy.
Like a 3 pound, you cannot purchase this stuff in a reasonable amount to have mailed to you.
Oh no, and it probably isn't legal in certain states, so it won't go through UPS.
A 3 pound roll is $25, and then the shipping starts at $12 or something. And I'm like, so it's a bit much. Like if the shit is good, like I'm down, but I'm like, maybe they would send me a box, and it turns out that they just called me a pussy. And
my friend Chris makes his own bacon sometimes when he was doing the dinner clubs and stuff, especially. So he got like a whole slab of pork belly, which sounds great, right? But then you got to realize that it comes to you looking still of the pig.
Yep.
So here's your big slab of bacon that you're going to be enjoying in a couple of months. Right now, it's got nipples on it.
Yep.
Not the selling point. Like that's why I live my life of like I don't want to eat food I recognize. I process the shit out of that.
Yeah. The chat is getting a little obnoxious about my challenging my manhood for purchasing meat on the internet.
Matt only gets alcohol. He gets beer that you can chew, but he only gets alcohol through the internet. Food is a direct purchase only.
I'm not opposed to meat. It's just the thing is like I don't want to buy 3 pounds if I'm
No.
not sure I'm gonna like it.
You're opposed to meat with hair on it.
Have I ever steered you wrong? Yeah. You're the fucking worst. You're literally the top 3 most hated people in my life. Egg sandwiches. She did not steer. Okay, so she talked me into egg sandwiches with mayo on it.
Okay.
It's not bad. So what I did, well, let's get back to food because I really didn't care for this movie. So I would do 3 eggs because I like protein. Make it as an omelet, fold it into quarter, or like half, cheese, quarter that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Toast. There was mayo. The first one I did straight mayo. This morning I did mayo and mixed hot sauce into it, a little spicy mayo.
Okay.
And then 5 pieces of Canadian bacon or ham, as Erica calls it, because she's a fucking commoner. Delightful.
Yeah, we are at my work. We are hooked on these breakfast handhelds, is what they call it, which is a sliced sourdough. They started out with these rolls, and the rolls are really good, but they got into sourdough before they start actually baking all the stuff they're going to be doing in the building. But it's eggs with white cheddar and this really thin shaved ham. But the eggs they mix in peppers, red and green, I think orange peppers, and it just gives it a little bit of kick. Now, I'm not a person who put peppers in my eggs ever, but this is phenomenal. So I guess he shaves all the white stuff off the inside of the pepper, so there's no membrane, but there's none of that like pithy kind of white stuff, which I don't mind if I'm just eating a fucking pepper.
Right.
And so it doesn't have any moisture to it. And he cooks the peppers down so that they hit the eggs when they're dry. And then when he does the eggs, he doesn't like swirl them around with a spatula or anything. He flips the eggs. It gives them a better texture. So he's just flipping them in the pan as he's cooking it. This guy is a fucking miracle worker with the stuff that he makes. And it is so goddamn good. And I dream about it. It wakes me up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, like, oh, I can't wait to get to work to eat this fucking thing. And then the whole ride there, I'm just like, I'm gonna get my goddamn breakfast handheld, and like, it's my everything. So I get it, a good breakfast sandwich. But I do understand why the mayo would be good, not necessarily as much for flavor, although I like the flavor of mayo on sandwiches and burgers. But it keeps the it's a layer of fat between the kind of like wettish ingredients of the eggs and the ham and stuff between that and the bread, so the bread doesn't get soggy. So you've got it on a toast, the toast stays toasty. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I just ate it really quick, so my bread wouldn't get soggy.
That helps it too.
I don't really know. I don't know what else to tell you, bud.
I don't know. Oh, by the way, the imp gets retrapped in the fucking
bowling trophy, or no, in a box for coffee or something, and then Linnea quickly takes Calvin back to her place, presumably to bang.
I don't think anyone gives a shit about the movie anymore.
No, and I don't think anybody gave a shit about the movie to begin with. At least nobody on this show besides me. So,
for what it's worth, I think this movie would be. Erica says, "You act like I'm pressuring you to buy 3 pounds of heroin. It's pork roll." You know what? Split the difference. I signed up for Fuego box. We good then?
What's a Fuego box?
It's a hot sauce box.
Okay.
It's like a monthly subscription to a hot sauce. Instead of cheese of the month or whatever. I did go to Costco to purchase their cheese board. They had like a So okay. Meyer puts out a goddamn cheese advent calendar, and I go one day after it comes out, and I miss it.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't realize it would be that popular. Costco puts out like a cheese board. It's like Kirkland brand. I can send you a picture. It's like Kirkland brand cheese flight, and I got that today.
Okay. But it's Kirkland.
Yeah, but it's fucking cheese.
Yeah, it's cheese.
It's not like it's Kirkland brand dog shit.
So when I first moved to California, like right after I got there, my parents went on some trip and they wound up stopping off in Wisconsin. And I was like, "Oh, fucking send me some cheese." And I'm like, "Okay."
Just ask.
Huh? Well, yeah.
Really cheese curds?
I'm not the young man that I used to be. I can't process cheese in the same way, but I do enjoy cheese.
And the day I can't process cheese anymore, I'm just gonna kill myself.
Don't tempt me. So, like, what I do to stay alive is I watch shitty movies and hang out with my friend.
Boom.
So they go someplace and they get like this whole thing of cheese and they send me this package and then it gets kind of like fucking lost. So it had like refrigerator packs and stuff to keep it good, and they shipped it in a time frame that it would have been okay. But then it took longer to get to us than expected and became questionable. But that was also before I realized that California has really great fucking cheese.
That's the funny thing is that California always tries to combat Wisconsin for cheese, and I'm like,
Happy cheese comes from happy cows. Happy cows come from California.
Better cheese comes from fat cows, and fat cows come from Wisconsin.
That's true. We don't do well with vegan cows.
Warm.
Yeah. No, and that also back to the work thing.
Oh.
So at our salad bar in the morning, they have bagels and stuff and things. They've also got a charcuterie.
Excuse me, charcuterie. I had a lesson in how to say that word when I was really drunk in a Target trying to talk about purchasing a charcuterie board to watch American Juggalo 2 on YouTube.
Well, I'm glad that you finally came out.
I was shocker, I was drunk.
Do you care that much? Yeah, so they've got cream cheese spread and butter.
Something to tell you when we're not on the internet anymore.
All right.
Yeah.
They got cream cheese spread and butter for the bagels. So I go and I toast my bagel and I put some butter on there and I put some cream cheese on there because when I first moved to California, I was working at this comic store. And there was a bagel shop next to it, and my friend Cisco, who worked with me at comic shop, got me eating bagels with butter and cream cheese at the time, but only at shops.
Did you write the thong song?
Do I what? Did she write the thong song? No, but she's never heard that joke before.
He or she?
She.
So her name is really Cisco?
Her name is Cisco.
C-I or S-Y?
C-I-S-C-O. And her middle name is Jeep. Because her mom wouldn't let her dad name her Land Cruiser.
I have a lot of questions. And by no means am I ragging on your friend. Why? Fucking why?
Because why not, man?
They're from California?
Yeah.
Okay, that explains it all. Apparently there's a voice memo from Dan. Here,
oh, God.
I eat one box for breakfast, pussy.
Nice.
There you go. All right.
Now, out of context, that's even funnier.
He eats a box of Cisco for breakfast, pussy. Wow. Yeah, it took him a really long time to produce. I'm sorry, Erica. Seems like sex is probably very long and painful in your house.
Well, he couldn't say it that whole time because his mouth was full.
Oof.
Eating that box.
Oof.
Made it too real, didn't it? Made it uncomfortable.
Yeah, Erica's a very good friend of mine, and Dana's getting there, and just the thought of them
doing that thing that they obviously had to do if they have a kid.
At least once.
Wait until their private selfies get leaked. Matt literally almost threw up the beer that he already doesn't like. That
Oh no! I switched to a different one. We're drinking Pillow Talking for more in Chicago. May stop here the next weekend on my way to Days of the Dead. if you're one of our 7 listeners and you're going to be at Days of the Dead next weekend, let us know. I'll hang out with you. I'll get drunk with you.
Yeah.
I might get drunk regardless. Might as well do it with a fan.
I got drunk with all these people last week. Did any of them know that that's what you're doing? No. Who gives a shit? I got drunk. They were there. It was a good time for me. That's how I choose to remember it.
Well, I know my/our friend Chris, he really only watches the live videos, never listens to the show, which is fine. But it's him and his wife and a bunch of our mutual friends that are there. This is where I met Coolio last year.
You're making Cisco jokes, and then you got Coolio to pull out. Like, who the fuck are you? Your favorite people are Scott Stapp and Coolio. God damn!
Simply, I was born into the 90s. You simply adopted it. We should probably wrap this thing up. It's getting. Yeah.
Rate the movie, Matt. I don't think you have to, but go ahead.
Here's a nice piece of shit that also it's a callback to my love of Adam Sandler and my desire to start an Adam Sandler podcast.
But you use that line on every podcast.
I do that. I actually do it a lot. But that's from Billy Madison. So
I know it's from Billy Madison.
But if you're listening and you didn't know, that's from Billy Madison. Beat thinks we should start the podcast of terrible movies. That was like 87 messages ago, but I remember it.
I would argue that's what we've already done. Or terrible movie reviews.
I think it was the podcast of terrible comedies.
Yeah.
To be, some of these are terrible comedies.
Like, how much further into not liking the movies that we watch can we really go? Like, it's already a trial sometimes to do this show. Like tonight.
Okay, no. Let me expand on that. It's not a trial to do the show. It's a trial to do the show.
And for you, sir.
I have the problem with like staying busy.
I do assume that it's easier to do the show than to listen to the show.
Oh God, yeah, fuck yeah! I just plow through beers and talk,
and then sometimes just watch wrestling videos.
Hey, don't make fun of my boyfriend.
I love your boyfriend. I think he's very sweet, and I appreciate him greatly.
There's a wrestling show tomorrow that we're going to, and he's in Disney World. He's not even there.
One of my coworkers is at Disney World this week, and wouldn't it be funny if they met and fell in love?
Randy's there with his wife.
Yeah, John's there with his wife too. That doesn't matter.
Oh, I assume that your friend was a female. All right, John.
What a strange thing to assume.
Randy Fitzsimmons, just yell.
I don't see gender.
Randy, let me get that dick. He cut his fucking rat tail off.
I assume that's his hair.
Yeah, no. What else would it be? Not his actual ass tail. He had a rat tail of hair, and now it's like he texted me to tell me where it was in case their plane crashed.
If something happens to me, you have to guard the rat tail. Like, this is the perfect like National Treasure type adventure movie that Disney needs for their new streaming service.
I'm just gonna read to you what it says. I gotta go back. If anything happens, I have my rat tail in the inside pocket of my blue members only jacket. You know what you will need to do with it. I said, eat it.
And then you gain his power.
His wife said, wear it with
and then you put on his blue members only jacket and you lose all power.
Wear it, yeah. He says, that works. I was hoping you would try and clone it. I said, oh, or that. His wife says, apparently you assigned the task to the wrong person. I said, both of your ideas are way better than mine. His wife said, Alyssa can weave it into her hair. And I just said, I don't hate that idea. And then the conversation stopped.
I guess it depends on where.
Yeah, but here's the thing is if my wife puts Randy's rat tail in her hair, I could sniff it. And it's like I get the best of both worlds.
And then Alyssa will know what it's like to feel loved.
Yeah.
If you can clone a rat, you can clone a rat tail. That's easy. I feel we've got the makings for a script here that we can do once we do Gremlins 3, motherfucking Jack.
Oh God, I'm gonna give me a second. I'm gonna text him. I text Randy. Wait, how?
So we're at the Matt texts everybody he knows part of the show.
If you can,
Since Erica and Dan have already made their appearances.
you can clone a rat tail. Corey Scott. Oh, 2 T's. 2019. All right, get out of here. Jack Pinecone.
There's my epitaph.
Gremlins 3 came up. Where you at, bitch? We'll see what comes back with Jack.
I just want him on the show so I can hear his voice again. I miss him so much.
He did text me yesterday and he's just like, hey man, I missed you. And I'm like, hey, we should do a podcast soon. Oh, Jack texted me back already. It just says, eh?
Jack's less enamored new phone who dis.
Yeah, basically. Good sign. He's not out yet. It's still early.
I'm going to review the movie by saying I've now watched it twice. I don't hate the fact that it's out there. If it were to I don't think I'm going to seek it out
again.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be mad if it
But would you ever watch this style of movie?
Shit, yes.
Specific style.
Yeah, because God, that's the thing is if there was this Roku channel that was just all movies like this, I guess Full Moon kind of is a lot of movies like this. And remember that I like that movie with the fucking weird dolls and shit, Blood Dolls that we did way back when.
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely this is the Joe Bob Briggs
of the heyday, not like the Joe Bob
Briggs now where he's gone on Hollywood and shit because people are all like, oh, fucking nostalgia, Joe Bob Briggs, which is cool. I'm happy Joe Bob's back. Good for him. And good for, the horror community. But this is the kind of weird shit that I fucking love. And I would totally, if I could be a dude, like an MTV VJ for a channel of the schlocky horror movies.
Ooh.
I'm a guy with a fucking
pulpit in his attic. This is kind of what I'm made for. I just don't know that I'm the best choice for the host, but dream job. Huh?
Are you saying I am?
Yeah, because you're drunk all the fucking time. You're perfect. And you're just so goddamn pretty.
I just had a bout of burping like Rick from Rick and Morty.
Yeah, exactly. You are what Gen Z loves, sir. You would definitely be the best choice for that.
I have a thick cock and I'm always drunk.
Yep. So that thick cock is doing nobody any good.
Yeah, on that note, we should close the episode so I can hang out with my wife.
Are you just gonna imagine that she's got Randy's rat tail in her hair?
Yep. She's gonna sniff her hair and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, Randy's rat tail.
All right, so you gave it a kill.
Probably a kill.
I gave it a fuck with your dick. So it really doesn't amount to much.
So I'll give it a drunk fuck.
Drunk fuck.
Yeah, because it wasn't the story was really lacking, and I didn't really care for it, but it was pretty entertaining.
Matt, have you had a sober fuck? I assume that if you approach sex soberly, it would be like a deer getting caught in headlights of just what the fuck? Someone just turning a light in a room and all the rats scurry?
Does cheese count?
You fuck cheese sober?
No. Is having eaten cheese prior to fucking, is that like a mild intoxicant?
I assume it makes you more stagnant.
You'll just kind of you can't waddle out of the rooms. You're just like, okay, let it happen. Every once in a while you fart, so it seems like you're into it.
So, so yes or no to it being an intoxicant?
A good cheese, yes.
Good cheese. Okay, so I thought it was a good cheese, probably by standards, not the greatest. So we'll say yes. So no, I've never had.
No, I mean a good cheese by your standards. It has to be your enjoyment. That's what I was going to get at the cream cheese thing. Like the cream cheese and butter at my work,
Yeah.
they both have a taste that reminds me of goat cheese or like goat milk.
Cheese. Like I
Huh?
like that. I don't mind goat cheese. Like it's where it's a little too creamy.
You see, I'm not into that funk, and that's the thing. As I mentioned, there was this goat milk kind of funk to these things, and I guess my coworker asked the chef, and he's like, "No, that's just high quality stuff. He's just not used to high quality stuff." I'm like, "I know what high quality stuff tastes like. This tastes like a goat pissed it out. I don't know what you think high quality tastes like."
Yeah, I on actually this came up the other day. Our wedding night, I had so there's it's like it's string cheese basically, but it's not straight ones. It's like a big amalgamation, but it's really fucking salty, and it is probably my favorite cheese that I can get my hands on, like readily available cheese that isn't incredibly expensive. My wife hates it because she's not into like really salty shit, but
Right.
I ate that on my wedding night.
Like had that with a prosciutto or something.
Yeah, and then consummated my bird fuck. And then you put like a nice like a cracker, like that
Yeah.
would be just.
Now, what is your quality cracker, sir? What is it? Do you want like a fresh made cracker? You're not going plain saltine. You're definitely not going Ritz. What is
I don't dislike Ritz.
I don't dislike Ritz either,
No,
but the butteriness kind of gets to me after a while. I can't eat a lot of it.
Right. A Toll House pita cracker. It has decent structure, not too salty, not too much flavor. So I really just want the crunch of a cracker to incorporate, like with the cheese and the meat.
I like those round crackers that you get like in the little black box.
Yeah.
Those are tremendous.
Yeah, I like the triangle of the pita, and it's the structural integrity is really nice. And I want the ham or prosciutto or salami or whatever to carry the majority of the salt, and then the cheese to just
Yeah, I feel like that for a charcuterie.
A charcuterie, yes.
Charcuterie situation, I need that style of cracker for like the ham and the cheese slice. If I'm having just crackers and cheese, like I'm taking a big block of sharp cheddar, like the Tillamook, and slicing that off and putting that's on a saltine. And for Ritz, it's got to be something like cream cheese. Like I'll spread cream cheese on a Ritz and have that because the cream cheese takes away some of the butteriness, so it doesn't feel like you're overwhelming with that aspect of it. So it's got to be like cream cheese or peanut butter if you're a person who can handle peanut butter and then cheese crackers together, which I guess we all did.
Yeah. So where can people find you on the internet or whatever you want to push this week?
Well, motherfucker, did you know that there is a new?
If we don't,
what is that?
if we don't change this, it's gonna continue cheese, and my bladder's getting full.
Yeah, there is a new social media app, or new to me, called Slasher.
Never heard of it.
Right, that's fucking new. I think Melissa from Horror Geek Life posted about it the other day, and then I saw Anthony has joined up on it. So it's a horror themed social media site, and it makes a point of like, we're not gonna block things for like probably the most extreme content and stuff, but we're not gonna block things of like what your Instagram stuff. Like Erin had a painting she did get taken down on Instagram today, not because it was vulgar, but because I guess it made it somebody uncomfortable in who she in like the tags that she used. They thought it was like a cry for help, which I get that from my wife's art. But this is horror movies, horror art, horror video games, like everything in relation to the horror and terrorizing community stuff. And it's it's new. It's got some like growth to go through and stuff. But the people that are on there seem pretty cool, and it's the start of something that, like a lot of things, probably might not go anywhere huge, unlike Space. But hey, I'm on there. You know what? I went and I joined it. I figured I do a podcast about horror movies, or at least a quality 5 to 10% of each show is about a horror movie, and so I joined up. So if I'm gonna make a pitch for social media, you could find me on Slasher, Captain Temerity. That's what I'm going with. I thought about changing it to like Corey Pot, but it was just. I feel like it's going to give off the wrong vibe.
Don't do that. That's the exact time that your band breaks up.
Yeah, exactly. You're already trying to talk us out of doing the show in the middle of doing the show. So
Yeah, something like that. I'll sign up for it. Not right now. So I need to. Oh, you can find me.
you're
on
about to go to the toilet. That's where you're going to spend all your time on your phone.
Twitter. You're not wrong. I send a lot of text messages while pooping. Twitter and Instagram. Nope. Got rid of my Twitter.
Got rid of your Twitter.
Yep. Untapped. Forgot how to do this.
Matt the lifeguard.
Matt the lifeguard. 2 T's.
2 T's.
3 T's is someone else.
3 T's is just a tease. It's just it's not the real.
Next week.
We didn't pick a movie. We haven't done this in so long, and then you're going to be gone next week.
Yes. So what are we gonna do in 2 weeks?
We'll figure it out. And hey, that is a thing. We do have a Facebook page.
Or beat to respond.
Yeah, we have a Facebook page. You can find Podcast of Terror, and we've got a Facebook group as well. Which, for some reason, the page has got a lot of activity. The group not as much. So you could be like the first person who's not already like a major part of the show to join the Facebook group and start posting your dank memes. That's still a thing. I don't know how the internet works. So Podcast of Terror or Podheads fan group of the Podcast of Terror on the Facebook. And if you have a suggestion for a movie, you can post it there. And if you don't have a suggestion, maybe we'll post there and say what movie we're going to do. Because I don't want to put Matt anymore on the spot. He looks like he's going to pee through his ears. If he puts his fucking phone down.
I was signing up for Slasher.
Are you pissing now?
No, I'm still. I'm successfully on Slasher, by the way.
You're fucking adorable.
I'm really curious about this thing.
Yes.
You know what? The reality of the rest of my night is watching a horror movie with my wife while fucking around on Slasher.
What horror movie you're gonna watch?
So we've been going through. I gotta pull up my list here. We've been going through like, oh, Jesus Christ! What is happening? Like the one. My cursor. Like, fucking god damn it! Now I gotta fucking edit that fucking shit. Just fucking close out the window I was in.
I love you so much.
I love you too, man. That was a fucking nightmare. I should just man, too drunk to taste the chicken. Let me pull up my list again here.
Matt, how many years have you been in IT, and how bad are you at using a computer?
Sometimes I don't think about what I'm doing, and that's exactly what happened. I was like, I was close this. I closed the browser instead of the tab. Okay, so let me see here.
Speaking of pure loves of my life, Jack McCone just showed up.
Jack! God damn it. Of course he shows up right when we're done. We're going through like the top 100 movies you need to like the horror movies you need to see. Near Dark is on there. I know I've seen it, but she hasn't. Let's Scare Jessica to Death. The Hitcher.
Hitcher, the Rucker Hauer.
Yep.
Thomas Howell.
The Hidden, Cat People. The Thing. She hasn't seen it. I've seen it. The Haunting. Carrie. I've seen. She hasn't seen. And Gremlins. But we recently watched. I saw The Fly for the first time. We watched Henry. Jack's been here for 20 minutes. Not fucking Levi's here. Jesus Christ. Should I just pee again and then we continue the episode?
We start over.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm gonna pause the audio. I'm gonna pee. We'll just keep hanging out for a bit here. How's that?
Well, Jesus Christ, and I have to pee.
Do you want to go pee too?
Can we just?
Can you buy time until I pee and then I'll come
Can we
back?
just go downstairs and pee on each other?
We could do that too. But do you want to pee first or should I pee first?
Yeah, no, I don't know if you can handle it. So go ahead.
Okay, I'll pee, and then when I come back, you can pee, and then I'll entertain people.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing so far so well.
Hang on.
Now we just need Growly Bear. Then we hit the market along the board. We'd have the whole thing. Jack, really, you've been here for 20 minutes. You haven't said anything. That's not like you. And I mean that in a like disappointment way, because all I've been saying is how much I miss Jack. God damn you. Shit, 100 horror movies that you have to see, and and he doesn't bring that list to us. We're always sitting there questioning, what should we do next week? What should we watch next time in the last 3.5 minutes? Well, what was supposed to be the last 3.5 minutes of the show. And you pause Mandalorian for this. Shit, yeah. I watched the first episode the other night with Aaron, and I liked it. It's what I've been looking for. As Jack has spoken, it's what I've been looking for out of Star Wars. I think it hits the nostalgia points kind of hard. It definitely does a lot of cameo shit in that first episode, at least, of like, oh, I recognize kind of what they're doing here, or I recognize that character, I recognize this, which is fine because it's supposed to be taking about the same time as Jedi Ends, but it also doesn't rely heavily on a lot of the things that have been done to fucking death in those movies. I kind of enjoy it. I know Levi's not excited about what he calls a Boba Fett show. And if it was Boba Fett, I probably wouldn't be excited either. But being what it is, I'm okay with it. I'm all right. I'm interested to see how they take it going into the second episode, but we'll see. And yeah, you're right. It's smaller scale than what you expected. Me too. It's really that they didn't go huge, and it's not like they don't have a budget, but it feels adequate for what you would expect and want from a Star Wars show as opposed to a Star Wars film. And I think that's a good sign. I mean, it's not the Ewoks movies, but we can't all fucking hit gold right off the bat. Has Granny Fett show up yet? No, we haven't seen Granny Fett. We haven't had B. Arthur sing at a bar or Art Carney.
The fuck is The Mandalorian?
The Mandalorian is the Disney Plus series that takes place.
Star Wars one?
Yeah, it's the Star Wars one.
Jack, did The Irishman come out yet? Starring Jack Bowen's dad. If you gotta go pee, man, go pee.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll carry the goddamn show. It is good. Okay. Certainly need to watch it. So it's out on Netflix, or did you just see like a premiere? Because you got the inside scoop. Also, was pausing The Mandalorian for this worth it? I refuse to get Disney Plus, so I need to know if The Mandalorian's any good. Oh, I don't think it's in theaters. I didn't say. Okay, yeah, I saw you and Kevin post that it was in theaters at least. Now I need to know about The Mandalorian. Also, is The Mandalorian needed for seeing the new Star Wars movie? I love Disney Plus, Marvel, Star Wars, old 90s X-Men, Spider-Man, Willow, Disney. Okay, so at least that's. But I don't know, man. There's too much fucking TV to watch. When I was Jack, when I was muttering, I was reading someone's message, which is this is not being recorded for the podcast, so you have to watch the video to be able to hear me muttering. I also accidentally tapped the voice to text on my phone, so I need to Uh, so I have to go back and delete the message that I just typed. Someone's sending me tasty cakes, which I feel like is something you're probably very versed with, being from that side of the country. Jack, what kind of tasty cake should I get in the mail? I don't. I'm really bad at like buying time and talking to absolutely no one while I wait for messages to roll in. Mandalorian said after episode 6. Tasty cakes. There's a bunch of pastries. There's honey buns, donuts, cupcakes, bars, crimpets. Yes, crimpets, not crumpets. Minis, pies, seasonal, and other cakes.
By the way, fuck you.
What?
I'm just downstairs and I'm angry peeing because I'm like, did he just say I will carry the fucking show to me as I walked off? Like, you motherfucker. I know that you are the talent
I'm not
and that you're what everybody comes here to see, but you fucking dick.
I don't remember what I said, so I couldn't even argue or defend myself. I said, I believe I said it's very hard to carry the show by myself while I wait for the messages to roll in. More of an Entenmann's. Ooh, Entenmann's is pretty goddamn good, but I can get that here.
Man, Entenmann's used to do Pop'ems. I mean, they still have Pop'ems, but they used to do like the double chocolate Pop'ems. And they haven't done those in years, and those were fucking the best.
I've never had them, but I do kind of want to get into this conversation. Let me start this. I want to get into the conversation with Beat and Jack because the Simpsons, Disney Plus started. A lot of Simpsons were cut. Also, if you're listening to the show, there's been a lot of pausing and restarting due to pee breaks and beer spills. So I'm fucking sorry. I don't know what this is even going to sound like, but the because the Simpsons came out on Disney Plus, and the old standard definition episodes were not square. They fixed the aspect ratio, and people are fucking pissed about it. Which
because it follows when they release them on TV, and it cuts off a lot of the animation, so you're missing parts of the jokes that are up on the screen. Because Simpsons does a lot of visual stuff to go along with it, and because of changing the aspect ratio, it's cut off. They also cut out the Michael Jackson episode, which I think had already gone out of rotation.
Shocker. Yeah,
right.
Don't worry, I got it. If you need it, I got what you need.
And then I guess the other complaint was that the Han shoots Greedo scene from A New Hope is fucked up, and a lot of people don't realize that it's something that Lucas had already changed. So it wasn't something that Disney did. They didn't make it worse. They just allowed it to continue being as shitty as it's been since Lucas had to fuck with stuff to begin with.
Let me ask, because you're obviously whatever. So what is the original? Who shot first?
Originally, Han shot first. Not even first. There was never a other shot. The ruthlessness of the scene is what introduces us to Han Solo. He sits there in the Mos Eisley Cantina. Greedo comes in and makes some threats to him about the fact that he fucked up and he dumped all his cargo that he was supposed to be taking to Jabba, and Jabba's hired people to come after him. And so it's all implied that Greedo's going to either take him to Jabba or kill him. And in a casual, like, Han's just like leaned back and all cool and shit, and he's like, yeah, I fucking bet you do. And then he shoots Greedo, just shoots him dead. And so Lucas, I guess, said that scene never sat right with him because it means that Han's a bad guy, but the whole thing is supposed to him being a good guy who just acts like a scoundrel. It's like, no, he can be a bad guy who turns into a better person, but the scoundrel part is why he was cool and why the prequels never work, because there's no Han type character in the prequels. It's a bunch of Luke fucking characters. And then there's like your shitty ass white person playing fucking Darth Vader as the lamest motherfucker in the fucking galaxy. And that shit was fucking boring. And then your only female character dying of a broken heart. You fucking bastards. So all that is shitty enough. But the Han shooting first thing, Lucas is like, no, I can't make him shoot first. So he makes Greedo shoot and then Han shoot him in self-defense. And then he changes it later on because a lot of people reacted poorly to the change. And he makes it so they're kind of like shooting at the same time, except Greedo's shot goes off over fucking Han's shoulder. Like, so Greedo's not only really fucking lame, but he is the worst shot in the fucking planet. And it just gets stupider and stupider. So now, like, Greedo says something like, motherfucker, Han shoots him, and there's a giant explosion. It doesn't matter.
Why not just leave it the way it was?
Why not just leave it the way it was? That's the thing. And it's
Legitimate question. I mean, clearly
a very legitimate question. You got what is one of the most, if not the most popular film series of all time, and you decide what I really need to do 20 years later, as I'm re-releasing into the theaters, is tinker with the shit that people liked.
Right.
I don't get it. I don't think anybody got it, and I think that's part of why he retired and why he sold the stuff, is that it just was kind of showing that the audience felt like the movies belonged to them. He felt like he was the person who made the movies, so he should be able to fix the things that he wanted to fix and enhance the things that he wanted to enhance. And it was a battle of wills, and the audience is louder, and the audience is also the ones with all the cash. So he's like, fine, someone else take it.
Yeah, it's a weird position to be in. I just Googled the most popular film series of all times, and Lord of the Rings came up. So,
And what was worse received, the Star Wars prequels or the Hobbit movies?
well, and that's the thing. Like, if you really want to argue it, it says that the most popular, the best, the highest box office for a film series, which was more than one film, is actually Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
So, and
For what
that's
it cost to make and for what it made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and that's the thing.
I imagine the Joker's probably up there now at this point too. Now that's made $1 billion.
Currently, the Joker is a standalone film. There is no series to it. Now you make a second one, and then you're in contention. Which, have you seen the Joker yet?
No, I'm not interested in the Joker
Fucking
as a movie.
Really good movie.
I'm sure that it is. Now everybody's made it very clear that it's great. For me, it's not. I again point to, I appreciate the fact that all of these things that I would have shit myself over as a kid are coming out and existing now. But I also realize that a lot of them aren't for me. I'm not the audience for this.
I don't I don't want to talk about it here because I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it, because I think it is actually really worth seeing. But get at these DMs, bro. I really liked it for what it was, and that was a really fucking depressed movie.
Yeah, and it just seems like we're taking the Joker character name and we're putting it over a movie that has nothing to do with the Joker because we know we can sell it because it's called the Joker.
Mhm.
But
I don't know. Is there a comic book line that this followed at all?
No. I mean, it's not even the character from the comics. They put in a couple touches here and there, but it's not an actual movie about the Joker from DC Comics.
Okay. Now, so, and I guess whatever. I'm pretty drunk, so I don't care. But Beat says that he doesn't like how they portrayed mental issues, and I want him to elaborate on that. Because I'm curious, because this movie is not about anything other than mental issues. But I just liked how dark it was and how natural. It was a naturally occurring instance of how the Joker was created in Gotham City. It wasn't, he wasn't dumped in a vat of goo and that's how he became the Joker or anything of that.
Now, I'm gonna start off by saying I, again, not watch the Joker. Don't know a lot about the movie. Know little bits here and there, and I've not watched it. I still kind of want to watch Birdman, which was the Michael Keaton movie from a few years ago.
I've never seen it, but I've heard it's very dark.
I've heard that, and I've heard that it did really well and everything. But Birdman, to me, feels like, oh, they could have done Birdman and said it was Batman, like put the Batman character on it, put the Batman logo on and everything, but done like this completely not Batman movie. But include the fucking window dressing of it being Batman. But they didn't. They made Birdman. cool. Now I don't know how much alike it is to Batman, other than the fact that it stars a guy who played fucking Batman in the first 2 Batman films and kicked ass. But why not do this Joker movie in the sense of how Batman or Birdman was done? Like it's a counterpoint to the actual Joker. So we're doing kind of like the Joker, but it's not really the Joker. Without having seen either one, it does seem like there could even be something there where this Joker film is the Joker to Birdman. Because they're both more realistic, dark takes that aren't really about anything from the comics.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me talking to my ass because I haven't seen them.
Right. So Jack says that Joker was a well-acted, pointless, boring film. Birdman is about acting.
A line that comes up in my head a lot about more Hollywood things, but even things that of my own, like I think about writing, is when Jack and Dan watched the latest. What is it?
I don't know. Jack and Dan have been putting it out for so long.
It's been a while, but it was the Netflix released movie from the J.J. Abrams films, the giant monster things. Cloverfield, the latest Cloverfield film.
Oh, Cloverfield Paradox.
Right. And the headline for their review, their watch was "Fuck you, monster."
I'm sorry. What? You cut out on me.
Fuck you. Here's a monster.
Fuck you. Here's a monster. Yeah.
So because the movie was basically like it's called Cloverfield, whatever, and it has absolutely nothing to do with Cloverfield until the end. They show a giant monster, and I hear that line in my head all the time of like, "Fuck you, here's this thing." It's like it doesn't count for the rest of the fucking time, but at the end, here's our pinning the little masterpiece to make it all work for the audience that we're pitching it for, even though it's been a fucking lie. Fuck you, here's a Joker. Is what I would hear Jack say in my head when I think about the Joker movie.
Oh, a shoehorn. Pop.
But I'm not trying to literally shit on this film that a lot of people love. I'm not trying to say that anybody watched it is wrong or that it's not an enjoyable film. It's obviously it's doing very well. There's a lot of things that did very well that I would shit on completely. I'm not trying to say any of that. I'm just saying that
on people.
It's not me. It's not my thing. My wife wanted to see it. Aaron was like, "Oh, you want to go see that Joker movie?" I do not.
It's on
But
Flex. She wants to see it.
Yeah, but that she wanted to is pretty big. Like, because she's not a superhero movie person. She's not a comic book movie person.
But
Every once in a while, I'm like, hey, that movie you really liked, that's based off a comic.
I think the standalone Joker could not be a superhero movie.
Right. I mean,
that's what I like about it so much.
Yeah. But it also came out at the same time that the guy that made the movies that it's probably most emulating is talking shit about superhero movies not being movies.
Right.
So I think that's also a pretty good slam.
Yeah, it came out at a very trying time, I guess.
But I want to see what his audience feels about this new Irishman film or whatever he's doing, which is just the same goddamn movie he's done 10 other times with the same fucking actors.
Right.
I assume.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm not a Scorsese fan. I don't like
that was my indifferent grumble.
Yeah. And that's how I feel about Scorsese, is indifference. It's not to say he's not talented. I'm just saying that the shit he makes isn't stuff that I'm interested in.
Right. They're going to be enjoyable for what they are, and to me, they're just enjoyable.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't watch the Godfather movies. I've
never seen a Godfather movie.
I've seen Goodfellas, and the only part that I really like is when it starts playing the whole second half of Layla, because I like that music. I don't dig those types of stories. I don't like mafia shit. I don't want to watch The Sopranos. Right. I don't. That's just not my deal. But it's okay that everybody else likes it, and I'm not saying that
Godfather is crap films. Obviously, they're not, but they're not on my list.
Right.
You know,
But when you come out and say, "Oh, but the shit that you're making that isn't like my shit is crap films," I take an issue with that. I don't blow up about it like the fucking internet does. But it is kind of stupid. It's like, wow, my shit is fucking gold. It's like your shit had its time, but is your shit for today's audience? No. Your shit is for the audience that has enjoyed your shit all along. Today's audience is looking for something else. Do I think it's great that all of the movies are becoming these giant blockbuster fucking things that are owned by 3 companies? No. You know, there should be more variety. There should be other stuff out there. I'm always asking for something that's original. I'm always asking for something that's not a product placement film. But you can't just say that these movies are crap when you, one, probably never watched any of them, and two, are kind of pissing and moaning about the fact that people are going and paying bucket loads to see them, and your shit is you're lucky that Netflix signed you. And they didn't fucking Woody Allen you afterwards. Not that he has any reason to be Woody Allen. Woody Allen deserved to be fucking Woody Allen. Fuck that guy.
We should probably end the episode on that soapbox.
Yeah, so for all the bonus content of when we were wrapping up, this is what you got. I hope you people hit next like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You probably hit next 2 pee breaks ago, but that's fine.
Yeah, whatever. At least we got your play.
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, that's gonna do it for another episode of the podcast today. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Stay Scorsese, everybody. Why, that would have been nice if it came out right.
It's fine. I left it as what it was.
That's why I love you.
Going to
Beatmaster Aviator, Last Temptation of Christ, Color of Money, Hugo. I don't watch any of those though.
I've never seen any of those movies.
Jack, Beatmaster, Levi, thank you guys for hanging out. Levi, sorry you showed up late.
Erica, you probably took off when we were talking about Dan doing stuff to your vaginal area. Thank you too for being here.
Really blame her. As Corey mentioned, if you were even still here, next week we're not going to do an episode. I'll be coming home from Chicago, and then the Packers, the game got flexed to Sunday night. Which if you watch football, that means something to you. But
Well, what if you watch football, but you know the fucking Packers?
but it's still the 49ers who are like 8-1.
I know, because the 49ers are a team. I'm just fucking with you, man. I have no opinion about any of this shit.
It should be a good game, is all I'm gonna say.
I'm sure it's gonna be.
I think
swell.
you and I have equal.
Is anybody gonna get hit in the head with their own fucking helmet?
No, that was a fucking game, and it wasn't even a good game, but it was a game.
Fuck you. Here's a helmet. That's the pitch for that game.
When two teams couldn't get any worse, someone just swings a helmet at the other one.
That's true, and that is your advertisement for Vince McMahon's XFL.
The XFL so goddamn much.
That should be a baseline move in the XFL. At some point, every game, it's like they're steel carrying.
You can hit someone in the head with the helmet.
It's like the same thing as like pulling out the chair from under the fucking ring. You just bring it up and whap somebody in the head with their helmet.
Oh my god. Instead of $1 million, you could just fucking hit someone in the head with a helmet. Fuck.
That guy with the concussion, who's like on his like third or fourth. He's like the fat guy in Varsity Blues / None Other Teen Movie. That guy should just go to conventions in a couple years when he can't like talk without drooling on himself, and like have foam helmets that you can like pay $30 to get your picture taken with them. You know, someone will like wheel them out and like you can just take poses of yourself hitting him with the helmet. That'll be how he makes it through the indignation of old age athlete life.
And on that note, Finish
You gotta
mastering
pee again, don't you?
the audio. I'm gonna need to shortly. Jack, I'm gonna text you again shortly about the fact that we need to do Gremlins 3.
Jack, I just need you in my ear holes. I just need you in my life more. Gremlins 3 will always be.
Jack, if you can't do Gremlins 3, we'll just get you on in an episode. So I'm gonna text you all about this. Oh no. It just says please don't. Well, we want you on, so we'll figure out a day soon, and we'll get you on. I'm gonna stop the YouTube, and then I'm gonna go hang out with my wife, who's probably very upset that I'm very drunk. Thanks. No, God damn it! Don't block my number, Jack.
Oh, Jack's the new lead singer for Creed.
Jesus Christ.
Well, no, that's not going to warm you up to him.
Jack Stapp.
Jack Stapp.
Or Scott Pacone. Either way.
Stapp
All
Jack.
right. I'm ending this before Jack breaks my heart again. Thanks again, guys. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Hi, guys.